Hello, and welcome to The Collectors. Are you looking for Funko Pops? We got everything from commons exclusive to chases. What about statues? We have everything from anime, Marvel, and DC available. So if you're looking to build your collection, be sure to stop by The Collectors. We are located in 3937 South McCall Road, Edinburgh, Texas.
And what is up? Welcome back. It's Friday night, and you're here with the Average Boys Podcast. It's your boy ChrisP, and I'm here with my boy Brian. Brian, what is up, my dude?
What is up, ChrisP? What's going on, man?
Nada, man, nada. Welcome back to the week, bro. How you doing?
Man, glad to be here. Glad to be here on another episode of the Average Boys Podcast. Man, it's been a great week, honestly. I can't complain. It went by really quickly. We got a snow day today and tomorrow, man. I'm just gonna be hanging inside the house. It's Royal Rumble weekend for all my WWE fans out there, and I can't wait, man. It's a great time of year, man. How about yourself, man? How was your week?
Man, as a matter of fact, I'm you know me, dude. I don't really watch a lot of like wrestling, a lot of anything like that. But I was super fucking blown away by that video that Robert, our boy Rob, posted about that Sam Guerrero,
Sammy G, man.
He did like an RKO.
He did an RKO
off of like a fucking 30-foot ladder.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
And then not only that, but he took like a backdrop off the top of the ladder too in that same match, bro. That was an epic match.
Man, it's really crazy, dude. Because of course, like I was probably like a lot of people. I was a pretty solid fan back in like the early 2000s, late 90s. Yeah. When it came to the WWE, when it was Stone Cold and The Rock and the Hardy Boys and all that stuff.
Of course.
And of course, there was like the underground wrestling scene with like the Amazing Red.
Mm-hmm.
And like all of those dudes, but they were in another wrestling organization. I want to say it's like Ohio Valley Wrestling, or it was something like that. But I remember some of my friends would show me like the Amazing Red stuff, and I was so blown away by the way that their acrobatic technique was so clean.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really weird. Like when you would see guys get on like a top rope or a fence, you always see like a little wiggle like from the rope, and then they jump and do some shit, and it's always real fucking dicey. Like you never trust that shit.
Iffy, it's iffy. Yeah.
So the idea is it's you would always think like they would need to support those items more or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that Sam kid jumped off the ladder, like you knew that kid did tumbling or something, because there was no sway, no kickback. Like it was just hop right off the ladder. The ladder didn't move. It looked like the ladder was like, it looked like it was a part of the goddamn ring.
It was clean.
I was 100% fucking blown away by that. That was it's a beautiful shit, man. That was fucking awesome. And speaking of wrestling, we have a show coming up here in the Valley, Texas Wrestling, something or other. Matt Hardy's gonna be here.
Nice.
Rob Van Dam and his wife are gonna be here. Like it's pretty cool, man. Those are some pretty awesome names.
Hell yeah.
I mean, being that the fact that, of course, I think Jeff Hardy himself was here in the Valley when he decided to walk off. He just
dipped
off work. I mean, it's what it is.
He just dipped.
He's probably just when it comes to like the business aspect, some people just don't get treated fairly.
Yeah,
and I think that's probably what it came down to. He was just fed up. These are some really tough times on people. I've seen people walk out of work for less.
Mm-hmm.
So to see that one of the Hardy Boys is coming down, there's a possibility we may get Jeff and Matt. Jeff may come down with him just to be like, you know what, I like tacos or whatever. I like my Mexican women. I like my Spanish flavor or whatever. And he's gonna come down here too. It'd be pretty cool, man. But other than that, it's been pretty cool, man. It was a nice week. And you know what? I had the craziest idea, Brian.
What's that? Tell me.
What if your new like DJ name, like for the show, be Gym Class Brian?
Gym Class Brian.
I was like, I don't know why that clicked off the other day.
Listen, bro, it's your show, bro. You want to call me Gym Class Brian, man? Do what you need to do, man.
It's wild because I mean, you notice we all have like weird themes, right? Like Trigger's been his theme. God, dude, ever since I knew that dude, like in fucking 2012, he's always been Trigger. Yeah, and I guess it's just because he likes guns and fucking airsoft, or I don't know what it was. But Trigger stuck with him. It was a cool name.
Yeah.
For me, my last name is Ponce. So like ChrisP is just the initial of my last letter.
Yeah.
But if you say it fast enough, it just sounds like I've just been in the microwave too long. Like I'm just crispy, dude. You know what I mean? Like just a crispy dude. And I was like, man, dude, Brian needs a badass nickname. And I know that you have gym class majors, which is a cool ass fucking podcast name. I think it's fucking, for me, it's Biggie. Rob's fucking name is Biggie. Big Rob. Hey, Rob, I still got to see a picture of you with no beard, man. I heard you shaved. I heard you got all clean cut. I got to see this shit one day. You look like you're 20 years younger, baby face. Yeah, and I was like, man, we should give you a nickname, man. But we got to come up with one.
We gotta work on that. We can definitely collab on that.
But gym class Brian ain't bad. Gym class Brian. Let's do something. We'll shelve it. We'll shelve it, but
we'll table it.
We'll table that. Right. But yeah, it's been a pretty cool week. Worked. I'm a graphics designer. I feel fantastic. You know, it's fucking cool putting some fucking bass in that shit. But you know, of course, like being that I've had the opportunity to kind of like sink my feet in and bury my roots and get some soil. Yeah. In that, like, you know, there are some things at work that kind of, you know, get to me.
Get a little, yeah.
Well, it's just that, okay, so what they hit me with was I have to learn how to use a CNC machine, which is a big metal cutting table machine where you cut, like, it could be anything from wood plaques or wood panels to metal panels to plastic panels. Yeah. And it's very, very similar to almost like a 3D printer, minus that the machine doesn't pour the material down. The material's there, you're just cutting from it. Right. Gotcha. So think of it like a vinyl cutter, like the Cricut machine. Okay. But industrial. It's like a fucking $80,000 machine. Yikes. And literally what they were like is they were like, here's some buttons, here's the table, here's some material. Good luck. And then they just fucking walked off, and I had to figure it out. I had to figure the whole goddamn thing out. So I'm like, 100% my mentality is like, don't mess up the machine because it's $80,000.
That's like, a good idea.
You know what I mean? Like,
very good idea. First and foremost.
And it never fucking fails. I end up fucking some shit up on the machine. That's not my fault. I'm telling them I'm still learning, man. But where they're impressed is that I'm showing the initiative to go out there and try to learn this machine more than the person before me. Absolutely. Who was kind of just more complaining about the situation. I'm a tinkerer, so I love to fuck with things and I like to create and make things. So it kind of correlates very, very well. But yeah, other than that, it's been a great week. Tomorrow here in my area, we have a show called the United Collectors Expo. It'll be in Edinburgh. It's going to be a fun little event. It's for people who like to collect things, I guess. Okay. So yeah, we're going to be doing that tomorrow. We'll be out there, you know, selling stickers and 3D stuff and enjoying the times, you know, just enjoying the weekend.
Yo, who do I have to give a tug job to get my Average Boys keychain, bro? Like,
dude, I gotta, you know what?
The fuck,
so,
bro?
Two things happened to me starting in 2022, right? One, I'm getting a little bit more fancy with the 3D printer, right? Okay. So the first, remember, of course, I made the Average Boys little keychain, right? Yeah. Well, that shit didn't last too long because it already, like, the little circle part popped off. Okay. So I was like, all right, cool. But I figured out ways that I can kind of like make it into like little, like even like a wall hanger in the back behind us, like the way I used to have the marquee. Yeah. Like I can make one of those with the Average Boys. Okay. So slowly and surely, I'll be making a little bit of like, you know, a little fun shit.
All right, man, I'm just getting a little antsy over here. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I need something. I need some merch, bro.
But the cool part, this is the cool part, is I snagged me a Cricut vinyl press. Okay. And vinyl machine. So now I can make my own shirts. I can make my own shirts like all those people on YouTube that are branding themselves with making shirt shits. So right now I'm just kind of getting the information to get the program right. Yeah. And then it just so happens that at my work, I work with vinyls and stuff. So I'm learning at work. Yeah. And I'm doing this. So that's kind of cool. And the process of it too. I'm just buying the materials, man, just getting ready because I'm gonna start hopefully making some shirts and I'm gonna send you some shit.
All right. Yo, listen, bro.
I'm gonna send it with the candy bag. I still gotta send you a candy bag of all the Mexican candies.
That candy bag's not coming. Just give me a shirt, bro. Just give me the shirt. Like
I'm gonna wrap the candies in the shirt. Gonna wrap the candies in the shirt. But yeah, I'm getting all this cool shit ready so that I can kind of like because I have like, so I told you we had like a company that I would kind of go to and get like little knickknacks and stuff.
Yeah.
But the turnout for getting product to making a little bit of finance wasn't working with those companies.
Okay.
They were like the easiest ones to kind of latch onto because they're the most open or most subscribed to or most like, they have the cash to put the most advertisements out there. And you got to kind of look for these kind of things. A lot of people trying to do side hustles.
Yeah.
So like those companies are like the first ones they latch onto because they think they're great deals and they're not. But yeah, slowly building, and I'm gonna get you some stuff in. I'll be able to have some stuff on radar when I go do my my booths and shit at these events.
Man, that'd be great.
So,
make some money.
We also have Mighty Morphin Mania, which is going to be coming up, another event. They're going to have bunch of power. So our boy Michael Betancourt and Margaret, the ones that run Harlingen Fan Convention, they run a Power Ranger event. They bring down all these Power Rangers and stuff, just like the way they did with Nakia and Catherine, the ones that we interviewed at the last show.
Yeah.
But it's a show literally dedicated to just the Power Rangers.
No shit.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool, man. So we're going to have some of the Power Rangers from the existing shows. And we're going to be able to talk to them. Hopefully, the way we're going to do it is we're going to be doing a live Q&A like the way we did last time.
That'd be dope.
But hopefully, Brian, I can get you in that live feed. So
I'll
that
be
way
there.
You're there along with us, so you could ask us questions. I'll just make sure that I pass you on the information, so that way you could have some questions you could ask these people.
I'm totally down. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great thing. We're just working the nicks and the crannies out to make sure we get it right. But yeah, it's been a cool week, man. Of course, we got a new episode of Boba Fett. We got to talk about that. We're gonna be jumping into that a little bit later. Of course.
Wait. Do you mean like the book of Din Djarin? Is that what you mean?
Oh yeah, we're gonna really talk about that shit later. Yeah, because it wasn't bad.
It
wasn't bad, but it was bad for Boba Fett. I'll tell you that much. That's the easiest way I can fucking say that shit.
We'll talk about it.
But for sure, we got some stuff that we're gonna talk about. Nothing too crazy. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on in the comic book nerd realm. Of course, we got a lot of hype for Moon Knight. Hopefully by next week on our next show, we'll be able to have a really nice sit down and converse about Moon Knight, the series, the history, and really break down some really good information for everybody. So that way we can at least keep people informed and get them up to pace on what we can expect for the TV show that's going to be coming out for Disney Plus, right? But for this week, we'll get right into some regular stuff that we just found just a couple hours ago. Nothing too crazy, but for one, this one caught my eye. It was one of the articles I just saw today. It looks like He-Man's going to be getting a live action adaptation of itself on Netflix. Of course, this is coming off of the heels of
the animated
series, and then we are also getting a CGI animated series that's going to be coming out soon too.
Okay.
Now, what's crazy is there wasn't really good feedback for the He-Man show that was done by what's his face, dude? Silent Bob, right?
Yeah.
I forgot his name. Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart.
Smith.
Kevin Smith. I was close. Yeah. One of those, it's one of those names.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart.
First off, watch your mouth. He's a Jersey boy. Get it right.
What is it? Mayweather's like, you're not an athlete, bro. Quit acting. You're not an athlete. You got a fucking Nike deal. Quit act. I love that fucking you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. The ice bath shit with Mayweather is so funny in that video. Kevin Hart's fucking hilarious, dude. He's like, dude, go ahead and say it again. I'll make you fucking 50-1, dude. Dude, that's some fucking ballsy shit, dude. Kevin Hart's hilarious. Kevin Smith made He-Man Masters of the Universe Revelations. I want to say it was Revelations, right?
I didn't watch it, dude. I was not looking forward to it at all. I didn't watch it, dude. Okay, I can't even tell you what the name of it is, to be honest with you.
So here on the show, of course, we have our opinions on how people make comic books and all this stuff. Danny, haven't seen you in forever. What's up, girl? Going back, He-Man, it's very weird. We have our opinions on our shows, but we always make sure to say, if you're going to give us something, at least give us something with good writing.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to give you the chance. We can hate it as much as we want.
Yeah.
We could all fucking dislike the shit out of it.
That's the theme here. Yeah, we'll give you a chance.
But we're gonna give you the chance.
Absolutely.
And I get shit on a million times because of this comic book arc behind me.
Yeah.
I get shit on a lot for it. We talked about this off thing about Miles Morales, right?
Mm-hmm.
This character, just like Miles Morales, was on a part of Marvel history where they were jumping characters and trying new things. And this character got shit on a lot. Jane Foster's Thor. In fact, it still gets shit on a lot in the comic book rings because it goes there. You know, it's a good argument. It's a really gray area when it comes to the argument of comic books. And just like any other series, there's a lot of fillers, but there's some really good points in the series. But there's some other things in the series that they should have taken chances with, but they suffer from the Marvel comic book problem. And the big problem with that is comic book heroes never die. No matter what, it could be Tony Stark that your grandpa read and he died 15 times, but Trigger's excited that he's going to marry Hellcat in the next episode. You know what I mean? And it's like, fuck, how is this guy still alive? How many times has Tony Stark been married?
Yeah.
These guys have like the worst relationships ever. 50 years of dating like every woman in comic book history and then marrying like 80 of them. Man, they live a life, I guess. I don't know. What is it? They deal with world-ending situations so much that just anything traditional is just out the window by now. Like they're just like, dude, the fucking world's gonna end.
Exactly.
It's gonna end next week. Let's just get married, girl. So, there's always these situations that comic books suffer from. The He-Man series, beloved by many, right? When it comes to it, like the whole retro scene of life, when it comes to the nerd scene in retros in the 80s and the 70s, He-Man is up there with
center. He's at the center.
Yeah, dude, it's literally like okay. So let me ask you something, Brian.
So,
out of all of the 80s retros, cartoons and shit like that, like what was like your go-to? What was your favorite? I'll get it out in the open real quick for mine. Mine literally was Battletoads.
Okay,
I love Battletoads. But it was a game.
Battletoads was more of a game. And that was like the late 80s. It's like 89, 90 type.
Yeah.
When it comes to like the 80s, like superheroes or whatever, it's a toss-up. It's actually a three-way race for me. And any given day it can change. It's between He-Man, it's between Thundercats,
of course,
and it's between G.I. Joe.
Okay. And Transformers, right? Transformers
was there, but those three, I just remember vividly watching a lot of those cartoons back in the day.
And they had, to me, it was like they had some really relatable characters. Like you can casually relate to some of them.
Yeah.
More than Transformers, because Transformers are just cars. You just end up liking the car.
Yeah, I was gonna say Transformers was just more cool. It was just more cool to me. Like I dug it and I liked it, but I would sit there and watch the fuck out of He-Man and Thundercats.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
I get that 100%. And it's crazy because I was very, very hyped to hear that they were doing a comeback to it, right? And then we hear Kevin Smith's gonna make it, right? And I was like, okay, cool. Like Kevin Smith is, he's got his fucking, he has his licks, dude.
He's got chops.
He has his licks in the comic book world. He's a fucking huge nerd. Owns one of the most prestigious comic book collector shops in the world. Like the dude knows his shit.
Yeah.
But when I got into the episodes and I started watching it, you could kind of feel that they were focusing a lot on like the agenda stuff.
Okay.
Right? More than it was for the story and the development of the story.
Do you care to expound? Because I am totally in the dark about any of this shit. So when you mean the agenda, what do you?
In the first, you used to watch He-Man when you were a kid, right?
Of course, yeah.
We always assumed that He-Man and the girl that was in the squad, they were like a thing.
Yeah.
Well, in this one, they make it more where she's like, dude, I'm not really like that. Like, I like chicks.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, all right. Like, that's not a big issue. But the entire show, like, benched He-Man at the beginning of the series. Like first episode, they benched him, totally wiped him out, and the entire series ended up being about that girl,
Shira, right? That's her name, Shira.
No. Shira's his cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fuck, I can't even remember her name. I mean, I feel like the
I know you're talking about.
And then she ends up working with Oracle, because you see the Oracle, the wizard kid, right? Love that kid. She ends up working with Oracle. What's the castle? Not Grayskull. Is it Grayskull?
Yeah.
Castle Grayskull. The chick, that the bird lady that's in the castle that gives it powers. She's like a sorceress, and she's like, you have to go out and find the fragments of the sword so that we can bring back the country or the magic, because the magic is gone. Like Skeletor went in there and just started like all this shit and fucked everything up. He did what Skeletor does, right?
He did some Skeletor shit.
Yeah, he did some Skeletor shit. He did some badass old school 80s villain shit. Ran in, hit some things, and ran out laughing.
Just dipped. Just dipped.
But in the process of it, like you end up getting that Adam is He-Man. It all comes out because Adam's gone after He-Man disappears, after the Master Sword breaks or whatever the shit. Like, it's a very interesting story because, you know, for them to come back to He-Man after, I'm gonna throw a fucking ballpark number, like 20 years, and I know it's probably way fucking longer than that.
Yeah.
And for them to bench the main character after you're trying to introduce the character back to at least some type of like, hey, you know, I used to watch this. Let me get my kids to watch, my grandkids actually, like grandkids to watch this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They bench him and they bring in someone else, and then they make Skeletor like the ultimate villain because they give him the Master Sword.
Oh shit.
Which, yeah, you see, like I was like, hey, you know what? It's about time this motherfucker gets something.
Was he fucking shit up with it, or
yeah, they made him real built. You know, they diced him up, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Mark Hamill that came back that actually played Skeletor.
Oh way!
So super cool. Like, they had a really great cast of people.
Yeah, that's dope.
But a lot of people complained that the story fell short because it felt that
what was the
agenda moments?
Okay,
Were
they all right? So let me ask you a question. Being that you were someone that watched this, did the quote unquote agenda moments, did they really take away from the storyline or the continuity aspect? Like, did it really have that much of an effect, or were people just really nitpicking and just didn't want things to
I think it just goes back to the idea that people were, it's almost like the way the Boba Fett story thing goes.
Okay.
It's almost like we went in with this expectation to be like, all right, cool, we're getting He-Man back.
Yeah.
And then the first thing that they do is they bench him and they bring in the story of a whole other character. And then they make that character kind of OP. Like, kind of like they're holding their own and they're doing their thing. But in the aspect of it, it's not the first time that we see a heroine character that doing those kind of things. Like, you know, you had fucking the chick from Terminator, Sarah Connor. Like, we have a lot of female Tomb Raider, Lara Croft. You know, fucking, I mean, dude, we just talked about Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson playing every heroine character in 2019 through 2021. There's no hero movies without her being the fucking female character. It's not the first time, but I think it was knowing that the original IP of He-Man was a story about this kid that had no courage, was, you know, real weaselly and real slimy and real weak looking. And he was able to call on this power and be all that he could be, you know, make him into the man that every kid wanted to grow up to be. And it wasn't even, because I guess that kind of correlates to the idea of like this toxic masculinity part in films and stories and stuff. But I never saw it as toxic. I always saw it as a fact of like, and I was just talking to a student, one of my young kids, about this, because I need to tell you that story too, man. But I'll tell you that in a little bit. But there is a certain thing about being a man and being courageous that there's a payoff to us, like almost like we were meant to do that. Does that make sense? Like, if you were to risk your life,
it does.
To save someone else.
Yeah.
You feel like your life, like that's what you were here for. over a lot of other things, graduating from college.
But like, that's just.
Are we just hardwired to be that way?
But I don't even think. But can you define that as being a man? Wouldn't you think?
No, it's not. But it's one of those things like men are casually raised to think this way.
Okay.
But is it toxic?
To a degree, and it depends. But see, like, you can't simplify it. Like, that's a very complex question you're asking, and you're trying to ask for a simplistic answer, and you can't. It's all relative at the end of the day. It's how you were raised and what context are we speaking about? Like, it's a very complex question. It can be toxic depending on the situation and who is involved.
Yeah, you're talking about like the variables of the situation, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, like what it comes down to.
Exactly. Like it again, it's a very complex question, and I don't think you can just give a very simple answer to that.
So
I see where you're going. I see where your head is at. I know what you're talking about. But I do think from person to person, situation to situation.
Yeah, situation. The variables have to be
one person can be very noble about a situation, and another person can be very toxic about it.
So, as a matter of fact, going a little off subject and a little off topic, there was a situation that happened here in the Valley. I don't know if it's made national news by now, but 3 kids, high school kids, assaulted and beat the fuck out of one of the kids' stepfathers, who was molesting.
Oh no, yeah, I fucking saw that because he was messing with the 6 or 10-year-old,
molesting the child, and the older brother.
How much is his bail? How much is their bail?
Wait, it gets darker. It's not as this is what we're talking about. It's not as clean cut. Like, yeah, I'm 100% behind it. Actually, the student that I was talking to, he's good friends with these kids in high school. He goes to school with these kids. And he was like, yeah, man, like, I feel bad for these guys, but like, it's crazy what they did. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, first off, they beat the shit out of him. That's one. And I was like, cool, bet. I was like 100%. I was like, cool, man. Should have fucking beat his ass beyond recognition.
I'm still riding.
And then from what it goes on from there is like the other 2 friends show up and then they all beat his ass. And I was like, cool. Well, I don't see a problem in that either, man. But then it happened to like a 3rd and a 4th time, and then they killed him, and then they went and hid the body somewhere. Like, it was almost like several hours of them doing things to him.
Yeah.
So, it turned into the reason why it's not just bail, it turned into like a capital punishment. Like, they might get life.
Yeah, no, like, that's going to be the consequences of your actions. And I don't mean to cut you off.
No. I want to hear things like this.
But what do you expect? All right. So on the surface, they caught him doing whatever the fuck they caught him doing, and they beat his ass to death.
Fuck yeah.
Just for a second, take yourself out of your shoes and put yourself into these young kids' shoes.
Oh, you don't know. I'm for it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like,
I'm not saying that you're saying that what they did was wrong, but I'm just saying anyone that is saying that it's fucked up or it's wild, the mental not the mental torture, but just the mind fuck that does on a child that, like, older people have a hard time rationalizing and putting things in perspective. Yeah, you're asking a child to find out what they just found out and to have some type of restraint or
and have some emotional capability to it. You're gonna be emotionally distraught.
They're fucked up.
Yeah.
And they're at the age where they're raging the fuck out anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what do you expect for that to happen? Now, I mean, they did it, so they're gonna have to suffer the consequences. But do I blame them? No, I think the guy got what he had coming to him.
Do you think, though, in the situation, that there must have been a point, because they hid the body, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there had to be some type of knowledge of them to be like, you know what, like, I think we went beyond what we were supposed to do. Let's get rid of this body.
At that point, it's too late. That's what I'm saying. Like in the moment when you are enraged, like that would enrage me. That would put me in a mind state of craziness. Like I would not be able, if I found out that someone did something to my daughter,
You fucking kill him.
I would not. I don't think I would be in a mind state that I would be able to think,
Rationalize things,
and make the right judgment calls.
Yeah,
and this is me as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
So as a child, as a teenager, they're gonna handle this worse than me, and that is what that looks like.
And it's crazy. Like Robert just came in and said, should the mother face charges too? Because I heard she knew about it and did nothing but never did anything. But you see, like, that's the thing. Like, it's very hard because you got to get into the details of the case, right? We have to break down the variables. The variables, if you end up finding out that, like, one, they instantly attacked the dude, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
But then 5 hours later, they were chilling out. They went and got water and ate Whataburger and came back and were like, hey, you know what? Let's fuck this dude up again.
Yo, those are to me personally, it matters none. I mean, the fact that you violated this family. You violated this family beyond all repair, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So whatever consequences come with that, you have to deal with it. Period. And that's the only way that I can think about
that he can relate with it, or at least kind of rationalize it.
Whatever comes with it, you have to deal with.
I really think that these kids should be given the opportunity to have a case that has an open jury so that the community can at least give them a chance.
I would just say that's a moment of I mean, it's gonna be hard to defend, but I would just say that's a moment of insanity, because it's like, I just found out that you were abusing my sister, who is helpless in the situation, and I lost it.
Yep.
I lost it. I gained it, and then I lost it again.
And what do you think about what Robert asked about the mother?
I mean, I don't know. And honestly, I was wondering about the mother, because in these type of situations,
yeah, because that's her dude or whatever.
Yeah, in these type of situations, you always find out that, like, the mom knew, or she had some type of.
That'd be fucking horrible if it was, man.
I mean, listen, anyone that had anything to do with allowing this, they should face some penalties. No, yeah. I'm sorry. They definitely should face some type of penalty, some type of consequences, jail time. Anyone that knew about this. Period.
Yeah.
Like, this should not. Right. This can't be tolerated. There should be a I don't know, a standard should be set here. Like, this is unacceptable.
Yeah, man. I feel, and I was talking to my student because they're really good friends of his, and I was like, man, I feel bad for your friends, man, because the daughter,
they might be fucked up for the rest of their lives.
Well, yeah, man. It almost looks like they're gonna get tried pretty hard.
Yeah,
and it all goes back to the idea that it was something about a federal. It ended up being like a federal murder charge.
And then, you know what the crazy part is? You know how fucked up my brain is? This piece of shit that did this to this little girl, he not only fucked up her life for the rest of her life, because she's never going to be the same again. But now he fucked up these three
boys' lives.
These 3 boys' lives for the rest of their lives. Exactly.
No. These are all things that I was there sitting with my 16-year-old student and talking about, because I was trying my best for him to understand that this is almost like a.
So he was saying that they went too far. He was saying, like, yo, that's fucked up.
No, he was talking about it because they were talking about it in their criminal justice class.
Okay.
And the teacher was breaking down, because I told him, I go, look, I know it sucks.
You're probably fucked. Yeah.
But in life, there's protocols.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be procedures, and 100%. The idea would have been call the police or whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just can't. Your body, your mind, whatever it is, just won't let you do it.
Exactly.
You make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what these kids did. They made a decision, and it's something that they're gonna have to rely on.
Yeah, they're gonna live with it.
And you know what? Like, it's not a bad thing to stick by those guns either. You know, some people, like, you know, myself, I'd probably be in the same boat, man.
Me too. That's the reason why I'm not coming down hard on them, because I can see myself, and especially like even putting myself in the shoes at my age right now, I would still have a hard time having a different outcome.
Yeah.
Put the 13, 14-year-old Brian in that situation.
Yeah.
I would have cleaned him. I would have cleaned him up that first time. I wouldn't have had to sit around and wait for a second time. I'd have cleaned him the first time. I would have got it done.
That's where they were ended up. That's where the teacher was, you know, asking the kids on their opinion, of course, because he wants them to, you know, critical think and race theory and critical race theory, and, you know, just be out there thinking and open-minded and stuff. And they were like, do you think it was an overkill type of situation if there was a moment where the person took a break and got water and came back? Like, do you think? And he's asking them at their age. I mean, but it's hard because they're not in that. They're not in that moment in life. They don't have to be in that situation where the emotions and the anxiety and the anger and the rage and everything.
And at 13, your brain isn't even fully developed yet.
Yeah.
You're not even working with a full.
I wouldn't say 13. I think they were 16. 16.
Even
yeah,
16.
Okay, hold on. We got Triggs coming in. Here comes Triggs.
Okay.
And here we go. Triggs,
man. I'm here.
What's going on, brother?
What's going on, guys?
Man. We're just chilling right now. We are talking about forgot to put it up. The live action He-Man, and we sidetracked into
we took a hard right.
I mean, but because it's, you know, it's interesting. We sidetracked pretty hard into the three boys that killed the stepfather. I don't know if you. Yeah.
Everyone's heard about that shit.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
Man, dude, I saw that shit on World Star.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
It's all over the place, bro. I think I saw it on World Star too, bro.
Wait, are you talking about like a video or something?
No.
Oh fuck! I was like, oh no,
doesn't
please,
just
God,
do
Jesus,
like videos,
no, guys. No, don't do this to me right now.
No, like they don't just do videos. Like they do like actual report. I'm not gonna say actual reporting, but they do reporting, right?
They do reporting.
And yeah, dude, like I've heard from like national sources that this is getting picked up.
Well, yeah, because you know it's three young men who you know, in a way almost vigilanted the idea of getting revenge for what happened to their younger sister, one of their younger sisters. And in the process of it, you know, killed someone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, killed them. Do or die, if he deserved it or not. It's still murder, and there's protocol and stuff. I don't know if Trigger, have you ever got to meet my student Edgar, the little stud, the wrestler, the one that's in high school? He's like one of my fucking. I put videos of him like all the time.
I don't think I got to meet him, but I know who he is.
Yeah, he's really, really good friends with these three guys.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, he knows them. He goes to school with them. Like, they live down the street from each other. Like, he knows them.
Damn.
So, yeah, me and him were talking about it because, you know, he's trying to, like, understand, like, what's going on, Derpy Gaming? What's going on, man? Thanks for jumping in.
Understand? Was he trying to understand the mental state of these three?
The idea on if the court is failing for them doing what they did in protection of the little sister. And then them maybe getting, you know, life in prison because of it.
Oh, he doesn't think they deserve life.
No.
Okay.
Because in his mind, you know, it's a heroic act. You know, and he said it himself, just like the criminal justice teacher said, if you were to call the cops, what would they do? Run an investigation. 5 weeks later, maybe pick up the guy if they find some type of shit. Like, the guy's still running around. You know, he could hurt the child if he knows that shit's coming out.
Even
could
worse,
make some really awkward decisions in his life or whatever. Like, there's a lot of things that could have happened, and they just took, they took fucking the vigilante route. But yeah, he's just trying to understand.
I think that's fair.
But yeah, here we go. We sidetracked pretty heavy on this, but we were just trying to. That was like a really, really wild.
We took a hard right.
I'm good that shit that you heard about it, Brian, because you're way up in Jersey, and it's good to know that our our communities are getting out there right now, and people are hearing about it.
Like no shit, like army buddies of mine have heard about this shit. Like that are all over the country, Georgia, Wyoming, Florida. I mean, dude, as
the reason why we sidetracked into it was because I had said that there was a lot of ideas that we had for the idea of what the Kevin Smith's He-Man was going to have.
Yeah.
And of course, like from the very beginning, like we all expected to have that really scrawny, nerdy, cowardly character, coming back and becoming that strong male figure and stuff like that. And there was, I was asking in the sense of like, would that have been like a toxic masculinity trait written in the character, or was it something that us as men are kind of like hardwired into always looking up to? And is it like a good thing or a bad thing? So,
ooh, man, for me, the way that I see it is like, when you have the whole idea of He-Man and stuff like that, he has a magic sword that if he says an incantation turns him into this big hulking,
roided out dude.
Yeah, a hulking guy who never wavers in his quest for justice or whatever the fuck, and the salvation of Grayskull. There's nothing wrong with like a little kid looking at this and being like, hey, if I have something with me that like helps me believe that I can do what it is I need to do, or or get through a particularly tough time or something like that. That's not necessarily coming from like toxic masculinity. That's just coming from a sense of fear, wanting to, or at least a sense of like wanting to like overcome something. But then again, this was made in the fucking 60s. So who the fuck knows like why or what motivation, the creator of He-Man had at the time. Either way, like the product sold, because it started off as like a toy line, then it got picked up as a TV show,
cartoon or something.
Yeah, and then they expanded on it further and stuff like that. So I mean, the fact that it started off as toys and they were like, hey man, like what's the story with this dude and this fucking sword? And like, oh man, I don't know.
Thanks for asking, man.
Yeah. So like, it's kind of like one of those like weird happenstance. Derpy game, I'm not entirely sure, man. I actually just jumped in, but I'm sure that
you haven't missed the okay. DC or Star Wars talk yet.
All right, so man.
We're gonna jump into some talks about it a little bit, but But the He-Man thing, it's one of those things. Like we're talking about it because they recently just casted the West Side Story Netflix kid Kyle Allen as the new live action for He-Man Masters of the Universe, which is kind of going to be correlating very close to the Dolph Lundgren film. Yeah, that's why it's going to be a remake of that film. Okay. But then again, that was a really fucking weird film too, wasn't it?
Okay, so I love that movie, but
because Bill and Ted meets fucking He-Man, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, dude, it's Bill and Ted meets like psychedelic drugs with
dude, it's so weird, man.
Yeah, dude, but that movie is so bad that it's good.
It had nothing to do with He-Man though. That was my only problem. Even as a kid, I didn't like it because it had nothing to do with the cartoon I was watching every day.
That's fair. A little bit like when I saw it, I mean, I was, like 5 or some shit like that. I don't, like when I saw it, I was just like, cool, big sword swinging around.
I mean, for the moment, it had all the characters by name, but then you put them at like the parking lot of Walmart, and it just got really fucking weird real fast. I mean, I probably went into it thinking the way I was now, where like, where's all the fucking He-Man shit? Like, I see the characters, like I see dudes in costumes.
Yo, I just realized I think Dolph Lundgren needs like a Dolph Lundgren day. Like now that I think about it, bro, in the 80s, he was
all over the place.
He was He-Man. He was Punisher. He was
Universal Soldier.
The fucking Russian soldier. And Rocky dude.
Yeah, he was fucking Ivan Drago. Holy shit.
He was
did you actually hear that there was like a story about like how his home was broken into, And when the assailant found out whose house he had broken into, he immediately left because he saw pictures of Dolph Lundgren. And he was like, "Oh shit, this is Dolph's house."
I would have
out of here.
It's like Karate Master. That's like Karate Master kind of shit talk like from back in the day. But dude, Dolph Lundgren, dude, he made movies.
Man, could you imagine that guy making calls? Bro, did you send me the Dolph fucking Lundgren stuff?
You can, and you know what? And the dude's like an astrophysicist.
Yeah,
like the dude's got like a doctorate degree in like fucking astrophysics.
Yeah, I think
quantum
it's actually
physics.
in physics. Yeah, so no, I think it's in physics, like theoretical. Yeah, it's either theoretical or experimental physics.
Dude's a G. That's all.
Yeah,
I know.
but he's like he dead ass has a PhD in like physics.
And yeah, he's a intelligent motherfucker. But you know, it's real crazy. Michael Bencourt makes a really great point. He puts the films from that era, Masters of the Universe, were meant to pull in kids. The flicks had a heavy Monster Squad feels.
Deadass.
Yeah, it does. But you see, that's what it reminds me of. Also, like that's why I said Bill and Ted's, because Bill and Ted's has that weird like, let's take a bunch of random characters out of a different venue and let's put them in like a weird retro adventure. You know, who did they bring in? They brought in like Abraham Lincoln and
they brought in Mozart, Nostradamus.
Yeah, they had a bunch of weird fucking people, and they were just like, "Yo, let's take them to a party in the '80s." And it's like I would have never assumed that would work. So when they brought in the whole He-Man cast and brought them into like, where were they? They were like in Detroit or some shit, right?
I don't fucking know.
I can't even fucking remember, dude. Fuck Super Friends though, man. Fuck them. But yeah, it's such a weird movie, but it's gonna be a remake of that one, but I don't think it's gonna be in the same storytelling aspect. I think it's gonna be straight up like, you have to remember that they're bringing in the director from Shang-Chi. Okay, that's gonna be the person that's making this film.
Okay,
so like if by chance it's made in the same style of Shang-Chi, you're going to have some portal or some gateway that'll take us from our world to their world, right? So that was like the same scene with Shang-Chi, like to get to the other place, like they had to go through that weird ass car maze, which to me still doesn't make sense, but because you can just fly over that bitch. But yeah, you can just fly over that shit. But you know, Shang-Chi wasn't a bad film. Was it? It wasn't Wonder Woman fucking 1984, which was his other film, but Shang-Chi was not that bad. Honestly, so to know that he'll be doing something like He-Man, I gotta give it some.
Shang-Chi felt more like a Marvel film than Eternals did. So for that, I'm thankful for the movie. You know, not just because like it coincided with, you know, at least the post-credit scene coincides with like Avengers stuff and, you know, like what's going on in, you know, in the multiverse, cosmos, blah, 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 space shit, you know, but, you know, but the movie was fun. Like it was a fun movie. Was it one of those where it was like, oh, bro, this is like next Avengers level shit?
Brian, you like Shang-Chi, right?
I didn't the first time around. But last week I watched it again on Disney Plus, and I had a fucking great time watching that movie.
Right? It's kind of weird. It's really weird.
Second watch, that was great. Yo.
Because
I kind of had the same.
I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same exact boat.
Yeah, I watched it the first time and I was like, this is kind of lacking. And then I watched it again and I was like, bro, this fucking slaps.
I was gonna say this is not a bad movie, bro.
Like it's very weird because
if it wasn't for Spider-Man, if it wasn't for Spider-Man, this might be the
best movie.
Oh yeah, this could have been easily could have been.
So for me, it's very weird because like when I watch it, a company thinking that it's a Marvel IP, so for me it doesn't work too well.
That was very Marvel-y though.
But for some reason, me watching it and thinking of like an old school like Double Dragon. Or an old school like fun Jackie Chan, but more like a Jet Li's like the mysticism kind of like martial arts films.
Dude, what was that fucking movie with Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee?
Oh, that was that cop film. I can't remember. That was like Shanghai Showdown or something like that. That's a weird name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember the name of it. Yeah,
it was funny. It's Brandon Lee makes a comment about his dick.
That's almost what this kind of like movie.
I'll just never forget Brandon Lee looking at him, being like, "I just want you to know, if we die, dude, that you got the biggest dick on a man I've ever seen in my life."
Oh yeah, dude. That was like
I was like, that's the fucking funniest line I ever heard in martial arts.
Go down in Little Tokyo.
Yeah, I knew it was something like that. But like, if you mentally like, If you look at Shang-Chi and you remove it like off of the mountain, the Marvel landscape, it's a fun fucking movie. Like it's a fun fucking movie. Like with all the special effects,
more than
the
that,
CG.
dude. I might say even more than that. That might be like it might be up there, bro.
I mean, yeah.
Personally, in
Yeah,
the
like
Marvel list, it's not in the middle. It's more
Yeah.
towards the upper for me personally.
I mean, for me, it's going to be in the upper half of the
vouch for
echelon
that
of the
one as
Marvel
well.
films. But it's not going to be like a top tier Marvel film. But
It's not,
independently, on a movie by itself, outside of Marvel, I think it's a fantastic movie. So, like, knowing that this is going to be the person that's going to be taking probably one of the most fantasy-driven stories that's like a blank canvas, like, and going forward with it, I think the director of Shang-Chi is probably one of the best choices. Not because of the success of Shang-Chi, but because of the cinematography, the visuals, you know, putting things down on paper to film. I think that they can really, really make it look pretty solid. I think they can make it look really, really fucking solid, which is exactly what the He-Man story needs after the Kevin Smith debacle.
Oh,
Like it needs it. It needs to be fixed.
Everyone just listen. We're talking about a Jersey guy here, right? I just need everyone to be calm.
Oh yeah, we're not hating on Kevin Smith. Jay and Silent Bob is hilarious. Silent Bob's hilarious, dude.
Right?
Look, first of all, every time I'm on the show, you always come for me. All right.
So I'm just saying, bro. You guys are always coming for something that's. You guys are always coming for Jersey guys. I don't know what it is.
You know what's really crazy?
Look, man, I love Kevin Smith. That guy's a fucking amazing content creator, dude. That guy is a. Shut the fuck up. Yes, he is. My wife talking shit.
Yeah, it's super fun. I mean, dude, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing without people like Kevin Smith.
Love his work.
Yeah. We wouldn't be doing with what we're doing on the podcast without people like Kevin Smith.
Like
they're pioneers, man. They're pioneers in what we do. I want to address some comments. Vince Weaver says, what about a He-Man multiverse? Man, freaking Vince always asking the hyper questions. I think it's a little too early to jump into the hyper.
I was gonna say, just give me a good He-Man movie first before you.
Yeah, first we need something solid and definitive to make sure it's gonna work. Multiverse, maybe. Michael Bedencourt brings up a good comment, and so does Derpy. Michael says, "I'm hoping that Shang-Chi addresses the other dragons in the multiverse, like Fin Fang Foom." See, that's a really good call because recently Fin Fang Foom was brought back in Guardians of the Galaxy's video game. They brought back a really, really great fucking. You're playing Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yeah.
So when they brought in Fin Fang Foom, they did a really good job with him, right?
Dude, Fin Fang Foom is like, okay, so I'm not gonna spoil anything, right? But Fin Fang Foom's character is talked about throughout the entire game, and like finally when he comes out, he comes out as like a bargaining chip. It's kind of one of those things like we need to go to Fin Fang Foom and like Star-Lord is like, no, we're not doing that. Like you don't want to go over there. And so finally when they do, the bargaining chip and Fin Fang Foom just becomes the most uber character ever. And I fucking dude, that game is A1, bro.
So just to give everybody just a little quick up, Fin Fang Foom is probably one of the most influential monster characters in the Marvel universe. Yeah. Also to be one of the most
underrated, in my opinion.
Underrated, but very detailed to Asian Chinese history. His character is an alien, like from space kind of shit. That's why he's a Guardian of the Galaxy's character. But he's iterated it a lot into a lot of the Asian IPs in the Marvel industry. So like Fin Fang Foom is touched base a lot like in Shang-Chi, but he's also touched base in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's also touched base in the Hulk.
Iron Fist.
Yeah, Iron Fist. Like he's just one of the many dragons in the Marvel universe. And he happens to be one of the ones that has like the cool whiskers, like the way the pawn dragon look in Shang-Chi, but just solid green. Mm-hmm. But he's a very well-known character in the Marvel universe. So a lot of people that are fans of, Marvel comics have been wanting to see a really great introduction for Fin Fang Foom. And I was probably one of those people that was hoping that he was probably going to make some type of call out in Shang-Chi, but they brought out the dark one, or what was the bad guy?
Well, they had the Guardian which I really thought was going to be Fing Fang Foom.
Yeah, Fing Fang Foom.
But wasn't. It was just, I don't know, some weird character. I almost want to say that, like, that I really want to say that character is a McLuhan, like the person, like the kind of alien that was in possession. Sorry, that was in possession of the 10 rings, because that's what they are. The 10 rings, like, creators are dragon aliens. They look like dragons.
But I also read that they were gonna stay far the fuck away from Fing Fang Foom, because
I figured, that's why, like, I'm leaning more towards, like, that dragon being.
Is it because of, like, the racism of the name or something? Yeah. But I thought that was because of the original father of Shang-Chi, not the dragon.
No, it was Fing Fang Foom specifically.
What was the name of the dad from the original one?
Fu Manchu.
Yes. Yeah, because Fu Manchu was the original name of the father of Shang-Chi, and that was like a hyper racist name for Chinese people back in the day.
Yeah,
Fing Fang Foom.
Because I remember when he was finally picked up by Marvel, they were like, "You better change that."
Yeah,
name.
You're gonna change it. So it's one of those things. I don't know, man. Like Fing Fang Foom, he's always been kind of like this character that's been there, but yeah, maybe they'll stay away from him. It's just weird that the films will stay away from him, but they just released the game with him.
It's Disney. You know what I mean? Disney.
You don't think that's weird?
I think it's no, because it's Disney. For the game, they could do whatever the fuck they want. When you're Disney, we're talking about the mouse house. Like you can't even fuck around at all. Like you can't fuck around. So even if it can be considered racist, you gotta scrap it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And there's a Fing Fang Foom reference in the third Iron Man film. Doesn't he call himself the Dragon? And he has like a Fing Fang Foom tattoo.
I don't think they say the name.
I can't remember. I can't even remember that movie. The Extremis guy.
I've read in multiple places where they were going out of their way to
not use it,
to leave that name alone. Yeah.
Okay. Well, shit. I like to see how that works out. Interesting shit. I do want to bring up one of them, a comment from a little while ago. Derpy put, just waiting for Galactus to be introduced so he could end the MCU. I don't know about ending the MCU, but maybe like a reboot or something.
I don't even see him rebooting. I see him kicking off a new phase. I see him.
I was going to say, there's no room. There is literally no room for Galactus. And trust me, I would love to see Galactus as well, but there's no room for him in this phase.
Definitely not right now.
No, you're gonna see him like phase 6 or some shit like that, with like the introduction, or like probably even like second Fantastic Four movie in.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that. Because, I mean, not even to mention
it's already been stated and slated that Fantastic Four will end phase 4. Or
yeah. We saw that a couple of last year.
Yeah,
at one of the conventions, the D23
that Fantastic Four, it's going to end it's going to end this upcoming phase.
I mean, not to mention also that we got some news today, as a matter of fact, saying that they're talking already for doing the sit down and talks for Secret Wars, the trilogy for Secret Wars.
I can't wait, bro.
And we all know 100%.
Who directs this?
Russo brothers, 100%.
They have to, right?
They have to.
Is there any other candidates you would like to see directing this?
The Wachowski sisters.
The Wachowski sisters. No. You know what? Like, I 100% respect the Russos. They know the material. They love the franchises.
They love it.
In fact, I 100% believe Disney wouldn't even be looking at Secret Wars if it wasn't for them mentioning it like 3 years ago in an interview, when they were like, what would you if you had a choice other than Infinity Wars, what would you like to direct? And they're like, oh, dude, Secret Wars, like, no fucking joke. Like, when they said it like that, and this is 100% why
they even went back to that during the whole ScarJo,
and he threatened that.
Yeah, because when that over their head, they were like, hey, like, what project would you like to come back with? And they were like, Secret Wars.
Yeah. But the thing is like, 100% those guys know their shit.
Oh yeah,
like they know their shit. That's like Oscar Isaac. That's why I will 100% vouch for Oscar Isaac being Snake for Metal Gear Solid. Because literally in an interview he was doing, they asked the people, hey, you're doing this franchise films and stuff. what would be a franchise you guys want to do? And in the process of everybody speaking, they isolated Oscar Isaac, and Oscar Isaac says, "Oh, dude, I love to do Metal Gear Solid." And one of the guy interviewed him goes, "Oh, cool, Metal Gear Solid. What character would you want to play?" And he looked at him and he's like, "Fucking Snake, dude, duh."
What kind of question was that?
Yeah, what kind of fucking question is that?
Otacon.
And that's when
I
you
wanna
know.
play Otacon.
That's when 100% you know that Oscar Isaac knows Metal Gear Solid. He's like Henry Cavill. Like Henry Cavill knows his nerd shit. That's why you respect dudes like that, because they go in and they expect some shit to happen for the character. You know they're gonna go in there and they're gonna white knight that shit.
Do you understand the Russo brothers have 2 top 5 grossing movies of all time in history?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Do you
Those
know
guys,
what kind of
they don't go
decade.
wrong.
Yo, do
He
you
did it in the same
understand?
decade.
Do you understand what kind of big dick energy that would give me if I had that chops? If I had those chops, right? And I had
Believe me,
that,
Brian.
I'd be like, listen, bro, you don't listen. ScarJo, fix it. Fix that shit. If you want me to come back for fucking Secret Wars, fix that shit.
Yeah.
Fix all that shit.
Yeah. How many Super Bowl rings you got?
Exactly.
I got
Straight up,
I
bro.
got 2.
ScarJo's the best thing that's been to acting in the last 50 years, man.
Oh, are you kidding me? They said that shit.
She's
They
the
said
fucking
that
best
shit.
thing, dude. She's the
I
best thing
can't
since sliced bread,
believe
dude.
that. And then you gotta respect it because it's the Russo brothers, and you gotta bro, you're gonna fucking argue that with the Russo brothers? Like, fuck that.
Yeah, I mean, honest to God, dude. Like, if I was like Joe or Anthony Russo, I would be like, "Yeah, dude, you're gonna fix that." Well, I mean, we can get new directors. Yeah, you can, but it's not gonna be.
Yeah, you can.
Endgame or Infinity War, because how many Super Bowl rings do you have?
Yeah, exactly.
So Michael Betancourt in the comments says, "I'm still out here waiting for Mephisto and Blackheart, much less than Galactus." I mean, we probably have a better chance to see those two than Galactus right now. I really feel like Galactus will probably be there more prominent in the Secret Wars trilogy. Like, I think that he will probably be the thing that either initiates it into the Secret Wars. Like, it's not going to end with them stopping Galactus. It's going to end with them all being at like Galactus and all of them get taken in for Secret Wars. And then all that shit that happened in the original Secret Wars happens to Galactus, where he gets tanked by the Beyonder. Dude, and then you realize this dude in a white fucking Michael Jackson jacket just tanked Galactus.
Speaking of Beyonder and all that, man, have you heard that James Gunn has come out and said that like the future of the Guardians like team is over with Guardians 3?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, obviously, I saw this coming. This isn't one I was like, oh my god,
how
Drax is gonna die. Drax is gonna die because David Bautista has already said that like he's done with the MCU once James leaves. James has already openly stated that Guardians 3 is his last movie.
Do we believe that though?
For a Guardians film, yes.
Yeah,
I think James Gunn will stick to his word.
Okay.
I think this will be his last iteration, and he will step away from doing Guardians of the Galaxy. If you want him to do another Marvel, he'll do another Marvel.
I was gonna say, like, do you guys realize that Marvel has more money than fucking God themselves?
Yeah, but you know what?
They can get anyone to do anything they want.
Yeah, but James Gunn as an artist won't come back to that IP if he says it's the last of his 3. Like, he'll be like, I've already done enough for that one. Find another person to do 3. 3's kind of like the magic number when it comes to like films. That's like the trilogy kind of thing, right?
John, I mean, Josh,
and even in the interview with James Gunn, the one you're talking about, he states, there's a lot of scrutiny around a third movie. Everybody believes it to be like the shittiest of the 2 when it used to be the sequel. The sequel is the one that everybody was like, nah, sequels suck. Now it's the third movie that people are like, not so much. And that's why he's saying, you know what? I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to make it the darkest. And after this, the entire team changes. And whoever wants to take it from there can take the reins.
I just think it's silly for him to say this prematurely. What if he knocks us out the park?
And he very well might.
And then Disney offers him the fucking bag, bro.
I think if they do, it's
turn it down.
But the thing is I think if they do offer him the bag, it's going to be for like the cosmic version of Infinity War. Like, it's going to be for like the big story that they're going to do in the cosmic,
like Annihilation Wave. If they were to do,
oh god, can you imagine that, dude? So there's this story called the Annihilation Wave, which is
speaking of Galactus.
Yeah, speaking of Galactus, and fucking dude, it's wild, and it consists of Nova, consists of Thanos, consists of the Fantastic Four, consists of all the Guardians of the Galaxy, consists of fucking. There's a bunch of cosmic entities that consist in that storyline, and it doesn't deal with the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you may be honest
actually,
with me, Brian.
believe it or not, Annihilation Wave happens concurrently alongside
Civil
War. Yes.
Yeah, Civil War.
Like Richard Rider comes down or comes and to recruit the Avengers, and somebody is like, hey, you're not registered, like come here. And Richard's like, pow, what? Get out of
registered.
here.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
man?
and then like Iron Man talks to him and he's like, hey, like, yeah, dude, like we're kind of going through this like transition thing, like you got to be registered to be here. And he's like, bro, do you understand what's happening right now? The fucking universe is gonna end and you guys are squabbling over this.
Yeah, there's literally a universal cancer coming.
Yeah,
and you guys are arguing who's not on the list of something.
Yeah,
it's a really, really great story.
Yeah.
So maybe, like you're saying, Brian, maybe they call James Gunn and say, hey, you know what? Will you come back and do this, but not as the Guardians? Will you do the Annihilus Wage trilogy? Man, we may get something like that. Or you know what? They may even bring him into the Eternals franchise. Because if there's something that needs fucking saving, it's the Eternals.
All right. Listen. And you guys may come to this. I just rewatched Eternals.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad, bro.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad, bro. It's not that bad.
You know what? I feel
for you,
I
Brian,
feel that fucking movie needs to get an award.
It's
just for letting Druig fucking hit a kid behind the head with a rock, dude.
Dude, fuck him. Fuck
that. I rewatched that scene so many times, dude.
There are some bad moments in the movie, but it's not as bad as everyone claims it to be.
I think the part that was bad is that we had to pay for that shit.
Yeah.
That was what was bad. I mean, dude, it just suffered from the same thing that Black Widow suffered from. Just wrong time. Could it have been successful if it was like when Captain Marvel came out? Fuck yeah. If they would have released
Eternals, Dark World. Which one's better?
Eternals.
All right.
Eternals.
Wait, which one? Eternal or Dark World?
Yeah.
Like Thor?
Yeah.
Oh fuck, dude, that's like a deep cut, Brian.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying it can be worse. It can be worse.
But not worse than Dark World. I mean, we're not talking crazy talk. God damn, dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man, you're right. Well, you're right. It could have been Captain. Yeah, it could have been Captain Marvel.
I thought you were gonna fucking mention that one movie with that guy that's like, oh hi Mike or hi Mark or whatever, that one guy. What's it called? The fucking accidental actor, or what was that one fucking really bad movie? The one that the fucking Franco brothers remade.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. The one with fucking Tommy Wiseau or something.
Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head. It's fucking
the Danger Room or some shit like that, or
fuck,
whatever
I don't remember. It's silly shit. But damn, Brian, that was hardcore. There's nothing in the Marvel universe that'll be as bad as Dark World. Nothing. Maybe Thor 1. But you see, that's why they needed James Gunn and Taika Waititi to come in and save that whole franchise. If you were to just imagine Taika Waititi taking on the Eternals in the next film.
That would be awesome. That would be sick.
I mean, it would be great. Would it be what we got from this from the lady that just did the film? No.
All right, just 1 second. Just hear me out for a second, right?
Okay. This is gonna be good.
This is the only reason why I say this, right? We are all in agreement that Thor: Dark World was a pretty bad movie, right?
It had its moments, but yeah, it's pretty shit.
And we would say that we would personally like to watch Eternals before Thor: Dark World, correct?
Yeah, straight up.
All right. Rotten Tomatoes.
What? As a matter
Rotten
of
Tomatoes, fact, before you continue, Rotten Tomatoes. Eternals got a 48 Rotten Tomato.
Damn.
Want to take a guess what Thor: Dark World got?
73.
Got a 66 fresh tomato.
Oh. It's because there is a cosmic.
People are stupid.
There's a cosmic question in Dark World.
So that's the only reason why I'm asking.
Rack worthy? Is a hat rack worthy?
I'm just
literally
saying,
he hangs the hammer on the coat rack when he walks into the apartment, and it holds the hammer. Is it worthy? That's the reason why that movie's so good. No, I'm going to tell you what. If there's one thing that they fucked up with that story, is Malekith. They fucked Malekith up. The villain in that story plays a huge part, like in the Jane Foster story, plays such a huge role throughout the entire Thor landscape. And boy, did they neuter the fuck out of him in that one, dude. Mm-hmm. I hope they fix him. I really, really hope they bring that character back. Malekith really deserves, but I hope they bring back the evil looking one, right? Triggs, you know what I'm talking about, right? Mm-hmm. Like the long haired.
Yeah.
Like I really hope they bring him back. But man, dude. Yeah, but you finally got to watch Eternals and you got to dig it all over again, Brian?
Well, no, I watched it the first time and I was like, eh. But again, on the second watch, it's not as bad as I thought it was in the first time around.
Okay.
It's actually a watchable movie. I know it's better than fucking Dark World, and it's viewed higher than that. I don't know.
So today I want to try to see if we're gonna try to keep it down to 11 o'clock today, boys. I'm calling it right now early because you know me. If you don't put a cap on my ass, I'll do this all night. But I want to get through some of these because I know we're going to talk a little bit more about some stuff. On to the next conversation. So this past week we really got some interesting news relating on the Sony Spider-Man situation because they finally lifted the embargo on Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and they actually got to come out in some podcasts and talk about their experiences coming back to the film. One of them talking to Tobey Maguire. Of course, they were going to fucking ask him, what did it take for them to bring you back? And of course, I think Tobey Maguire said, well, it was the idea of I didn't want to come back and then not really know what they were going to do with the character. I needed something creative. Mm-hmm. So do you feel with what they did with No Way Home, they did a more creative storytelling of his character? Or do you feel like it was money?
I defer to Triggs.
So
you're like, I'm gonna let Triggs answer because he said that movie was a hella good.
Yeah. Look, I'll die on this song.
Yeah, you're gonna have to, man.
Yeah. Fucking ain't no problem to me. Look, I love the movie, right? And I'm gonna say that I love the movie till
he doesn't love it.
Till they pour dirt over me. But as far as like creativity goes, and like all that jazz and stuff like that, you got to look at it from two aspects, not just a commercial aspect of like him receiving money, but also from a creative. Well, first and foremost, this guy hasn't done anything in years. All right. And I mean forever. All right. Secondly, I'm sure they were like, hey man, how would you like to earn what you earned your third Spider-Man movie, which is probably his biggest grossing, payday ever.
For half of the screen time.
Yeah, for like a quarter of the screen time. Not even.
Yeah,
and he'd probably be like, fuck yeah. Well, what do you guys have have planned? Because I'm sure that he's kept up with some of it, and
you're just gonna be walking the streets of New York, and a portal's gonna open, and you're just gonna be like,
and you're gonna walk right through, and then right after that, you're gonna suit up.
We're gonna give you fucking $7 million.
Yeah. I'm so concerned about the creativity of it. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Right,
see, Brian's on to something. He knows some shit. Brian's got that shit on speed dial. He talks to Toby all the time. They went out for drinks already, man.
Because they're from Jersey.
Jersey.
But no, I mean, from the creativity aspects, I mean, nonetheless, dude, like you still have something that's still pretty unprecedented. We haven't seen a second Iron Man. We haven't seen a second Captain America, or at least live action. I mean, we haven't seen any of that. Now that we're getting it, dude, it's sick. Like we got three Spider-Men of different actors sharing screen time, and that the scene with them jumping out of the grate and stuff like that, and the iconic hop down and stuff like that. I mean, complain or disagree all you want, but right now it's going to be one of the more iconic scenes coming out of the MCU in the past decade.
Well, I mean, going off of the idea of the creative nature, okay, Michael Betancourt mentions one, which is he had really great closure with Doc Ock's character.
I agree.
I think that last kind of like coming to with the characters at the end was very heartfelt. I thought it was very much needed. I think that them killing off the characters in the original Spider-Man franchises was always a really huge mistake. I think it was really bad because to me that didn't feel comic booky. Is that they were killing these characters off knowing that we would never get a return to those characters. Where in comic books, there was always a way that they would survive and and come back and cause problems later. You knew that the franchise would carry, right?
Yeah,
because of those iterations. So for them to come back and find ways to, I mean, I guess save all of these characters in a way and send them back to a more deserving life. I mean, maybe it makes a better life for them, maybe it doesn't, but it was cool. But earlier, Brian and I were talking about this. There's actually a really big rumor going around that now we're looking at, and then talking about the creative side, that Toby in this conversation, in this interview, mentioned that there are going to be other iterations that he's going to be coming out as Spider-Man still.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Doctor Strange being, like, I'm hearing is one of them.
Yeah, there's going to be like this weird, like interwoven story of different Spider-Man coming out in different IPs. And one of the rumors is, we heard about this a while back, where we're supposed to be getting Spider-Man in Doctor Strange 2. But apparently it's going to be Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. And again, from the way that Tobey Maguire carries himself as an actor, I really don't think he likes to be in the Hollywood limelight anymore. I think he just wants to be like out of it. But I think himself, he knew the payout was going to be good. And he knew coming back to the franchise now would be history making. So he knew it in the sense of like, yeah, this is like that Conor McGregor fighting Nate Diaz situation. Yeah. This is one of those history in the making moments. And I think he's going to fight Wanda, and he's going to get killed off in that show. I think he's going to get killed off in that series. Now, the thing that sucks is I think him and Andrew Garfield played a really good buddy cop Spider-Man story that I would love to see them back together again.
Oh, 100%. Like,
I think they did a fantastic job together.
I think their chemistry, honestly, I think their chemistry was better than Tom being in the situation. Like the chemistry just between the two of them, like alone, it seemed a lot more cohesive than it did like when Tom was in the picture. Now, I mean, nothing against Tom. You know, Tom's a fantastic actor.
Fuck that.
I honestly think that was meditated. I mean, because if you think about it, Tom was, his Spider-Man was going through some shit at that point.
That's fair. You know,
and so I think that was premeditated.
Yeah, I mean that's probably fair. You know, granted, yes, the character of 616 Peter, if we'll call him that, you know, or Prime Peter, whatever the fuck.
Peter Prime. Hey, Joanna, what's up?
You know, yeah, I'm sure he had a lot going on in his mind. But what I do like is that Tom is the one who finally tells everybody, like, okay, we're fighting as a team. I'm the only one who's actually been on a team. And, you know,
like, what are those guys? Are they like a band?
Yeah, exactly. Are you in a band? You know, I love that. I see, and that is so good. See, and I was very partial to Andrew's Spider-Man. I know, very, very unpopular decision, but I was very partial to Andrew's Spider-Man because Andrew had an aspect of Spider-Man that is overlooked in all the other ones, is his humor when he fights.
Yeah, of course.
He's always cracking jokes when he fights, and it's a distraction technique. And I love that he's always doing it. And he's like, you wait your turn. And, you know, he'll go do something. And like, it was hilarious. I loved it. And, you know, and he carried that exact same essence, you know, in his Spider-Man. You didn't really see that too much with Tom. He would crack jokes like beforehand. And then, you know, like he would get into his fight and then get out of it and be like, oh, well, that was fun. And, you know, then zip away and stuff like that.
You know, it's really crazy that I think that Tom Holland's portrayal of Spider-Man in this last movie really, really reminded me of Superior Spider-Man.
I can see that a little bit,
And that's the story where Doc Ock
takes over,
possesses his mind and his body, and makes him this very, very like strategic, intelligent version of Spider-Man. Oh, but only in the tactical part when they're getting together, like he's very intelligent. Other than that, he's dumb as fucking rocks, dude. Throughout the whole movie. So, yeah. So then, of course, Andrew Garfield came out, talked about him being the werewolf, which was the game he played with everybody in the world, where he told everybody like he wasn't the sus one in Among Us.
Yeah, dude.
The werewolf story.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, definitely. He was definitely not green.
He finally came out and said he was the werewolf, that he was the bad guy, that he was in the Spider-Man franchise, and he could talk about it now. He talked about, them having future, him having future endeavors with his character, which I'm super excited for. But the one thing that it always comes back to, and Brian made a point to point this out earlier when we were on talks, it's almost like every other week that we end up hearing that Tom Holland comes out and says, well, I don't know what the fuck is up with me and my character. Like, I don't know what's up with me and my character. I don't know. He's always saying it, right, Brian? Like, he's always just like, whatever, bro.
You've been talking about like the past 6 months, bro.
Yeah, like it's always like one of those things. Like in an interview, he's always like, I don't know, whatever they do, they do. They do it without me. They do it with me.
But then 3 weeks later, we hear that you're gonna be signed on for the next 3 fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. We got what do we get? We got like 3 trilogies.
Yeah, and then 2 weeks later, I don't know what I'm doing with my character. I don't know what I want to do after this.
Yeah, it's wild as fuck, man.
Well, what do you guys think? So I've read stuff to where he's essentially said that like if he's still playing Spider-Man after the age of 30, he's doing something wrong with his career. I have also heard that a new trilogy was coming out, right? That some insider was like, or some Disney, rep was like, oh yeah, we're doing another Spider-Man trilogy. But I also read that Sony has come out and stated like that's not happening. We have no talks about that going on right now.
Maybe just backtrack. It's really fucking with me because why is that a bad thing if you're at 30?
Well, because he doesn't want to get typecasted, and I understand.
I understand, but you're the next movie that you're coming out with is Uncharted. Why can't you do this?
Another action
movie.
Why
can't you just do this for the rest of your career? You've had other movies that you've been in.
Yeah,
you've had that dumb movie Cherry that bombed.
Yeah,
you have Uncharted that's coming out. Why don't you just be fucking Spider-Man for the constant pay and then go do whatever the fuck that's only going to create more opportunities for you.
And it's a very weird thing, right? Because like it's almost like the same conversation or complaint that Chris Evans had. Like when he was like, oh, Captain America, I'm done. Like it's cool, but I'm done. Like I feel like I've done everything with this character. I'm done. I don't want to come back to it. Like I want to do other things. And it's like what, motherfucker? Like no one's calling you, dude. Like no one's calling him. He does theater at Broadway and shit, but no one's got him on speed dial.
Saying this. Like this is some toxic shit. But like it's the reality. Like this is a steady fucking paycheck, bro. Like
and not only that, you're playing a character that's way beyond just a character. You're a fucking hero to most. You know what I mean? Like who in their right fucking mind wouldn't want to play Spider-Man?
Why can't you just do both, bro? Why can't you just do both? Why can't you be Spider-Man at 31 and still make your crappy fucking movies?
Trigger, what do you think?
Well, I mean,
I don't see fucking Daniel Radcliffe doing shit, but I see him still banking in the millions.
Yeah, maybe, but like, okay, speaking of Daniel Radcliffe, it's very, very funny that you mentioned that. Daniel Radcliffe was always going to be typecasted as Harry Potter, right? You know, the sweet little British kid with the scar on his forehead. He actually came out with he's come out with several movies since Harry Potter and stuff like that. But one of my favorites of Daniel Radcliffe that he did not too long ago was called Imperium. And Imperium is very far outside of his wheelhouse when it comes to, what Harry Potter is, right? He's an FBI agent who goes undercover with the Aryan Brotherhood to stop them from making a dirty bomb. That movie is a fucking one, dude. It's just so good. So good, because it shows a range of Daniel Radcliffe that you never got to see in Harry Potter. You look at it any way that you want, but it does show a sense of dynamics and a sense of range with his acting abilities outside of Harry Potter. Let me get the new fucking ones.
But straight up, like, how is his performance in Harry Potter bad? I mean, you saw him from a 5-year-old kid grow up to be the 20-something-year-old Harry Potter, and he did an amazing fucking job.
I understand where they're coming from. Everyone that's included. I'm sure everyone doesn't want to be just known as Spider-Man or as Harry Potter. I understand that. I get that. As an actor, as an actress, you want to grow and you want to be known more than just that. But what I'm saying,
that's how big those characters are.
Yeah, well, yeah, but understandably, but you're not that person. Who are you to say that that's exactly what you should be for the rest of your career?
See, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, from a business perspective, this is Disney we're talking about. You're like, these people are giving up the fucking bag. Like, I just don't understand what. And
what other franchise is doing what Disney's doing.
I'm not even talking about anybody else besides Tom Holland right now. Why is it every other week you're coming out saying, I don't know what I'm doing with this character or where this is going or where I'll be, and at 30 I want to be done, or at 31 if I'm still doing this is bad. Just shut the fuck up. And when you cross that bridge, cross it. But until then, you can still be fucking Spider-Man and not shit on some fucking 10-year-old's day by saying, I don't know if I'm gonna be Spider-Man next year or the year after that, and still make your other movies for Netflix or whatever company you want.
Yeah.
Why is it every 2 weeks I turn around, I fucking see you telling me you don't know what Spider-Man is doing?
Yeah, it's a good point.
For one, this kid has like the biggest mouth in fucking Hollywood, right?
He can't hold secrets.
Yeah, the kid can't come. Yeah.
He needs Don Cheadle by his side.
The kid's still a person. Not only is he a person, but he's also young. The kid's 25 fucking years old. You know, how many 25, year olds do you know who have exactly set out with exactly what they want to do outside of, like, okay, I want to be XYZ when I grow up. Cool, I'm doing that. All right, well, what's next with my life? I mean, he's just, I don't blame him. And I'm not going to shit all over. I'm not going to shit all over this kid's fucking words by saying like, "Oh, well, I mean, if he doesn't fucking know, then he doesn't fucking know."
Well, then that's fine, but I just don't want to. I just don't need it. But my point is that, and Chris led off with this. I just don't need to hear about it every fucking 2 weeks.
Then tell everyone to stop interviewing him.
Shut the fuck up.
No, he needs a better. His PR needs to give him a better response.
You just don't need to.
That's literally because even in interviews, like he doesn't even get to really speak his mind. He has to still follow a code. And it's just that, and we understand what people are trying to do, right? We understand that the interviewers are trying to get a heads up. Oh, dude, what are you going to do in the next couple of years? What's Spider-Man going to do next? He's trying to find some way to kind of like, I'm not really sure. It's whatever the company wants to do. Like, I get that. But, blaming it on like, well, I don't want to make it past 30. I don't want to do this. It's like, dude, come on. Like, what are you going to do?
That's kind of shit. I mean, that's kind of like backhanding. That's kind of like a backhand comment.
Like, I mean, the other week was, I don't know what I want to do, man, because I want to settle down and have kids. And it's like, bro, like, what about all the other fucking actors that did this? I mean, Scarlett Johansson fucking filmed Black Widow pregnant. Like, she fucking did the movie, like, with a baby in her stomach. Like, and you're going to tell me you need to settle down there, dude? Like,
that's fine. Do it.
Like, that's not an issue.
Why can't you do both? Why can't you settle down?
And I know what you're saying, Triggs, when you're like, he's a kid. He's 25, dude. Like, I get it. But at the same time, how long has he been acting and how long has he chosen to want to be an actor? That's the same shit that my guys do when they're fighting. If a guy comes in, watch.
Now
I'm just going to tell you the way I tell my
fighters.
If a guy comes into my gym and says, I want to be a fighter, and he's 18, and he gets into the fucking into the big score, and he says, well, I don't know if I want to fight, at 21. I'm going to be like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? You're barely into the middle of your career. What do you mean you don't know if you're going to fight? You're going to quit? You're going to quit at 21 when the life expectancy and the fight range of a fighter can generate from fucking 17 to like 52? Like, what is it that you want in specifics? Because right now, if you're telling me you're going to get to the biggest the payout, and then you're going to tell me you don't know what you want to do, you might want to do something different. Like, what else is different from the biggest payout? Like, what else is different from the biggest payout? Right now, the biggest payout in Hollywood is what?
Disney, Marvel.
What the fuck else is he going to do? Like, yeah, he could do other characters, and he's afraid of getting typecasted, but he's going to take roles doing action hero shit. It's the same shit.
And not only that, but like he also has other movies. Again, like he does put out other movies. He's been in other movies. He's been in a few movies that are lesser known. He's coming up in a summer or a winter blockbuster or quote unquote Uncharted. So you do have other movies that you're doing. My only issue with them, and again, Triggs, I'm totally on board with you. I don't care what he does with his career, to be honest with you. I really don't give a fuck. It's his life. He does what he wants to do. I just don't need to hear every 2 weeks that you want to quit being Spider-Man. Like, I got it the first time.
Fair enough.
I got it the first time, dude. I don't need to keep hearing it and reiterating it. Like, I get it. We understand. And then in the middle of it, us hearing about you extending your deal.
Yeah, but if that's the case, if that's the case, then until Tom is saying I'm extending my deal, or it's Kevin Feige saying that yes, we or whoever the fuck actual Sony rep is in charge of that, saying that yes, we have decided to extend Tom Holland's deal, then Taik, all of it is hearsay with a big old fucking grain of salt and a shot of tequila.
That's true. I just find it very hard to believe that he would leave this much money on the table at 25. That he would leave this much money.
And that's an extremely reasonable point of view. I completely get that. My biggest argument, with both of you is that one, he's a person. All right, the kid's gonna do whatever the fuck he wants, regardless of what we say.
1000%.
Secondly, it's his career, so he's gonna do whatever the fuck he wants with it, whatever we have to say. 100%. And lastly, who are we to say no? You shouldn't do that because of XYZ.
I think not what it is people.
I'm not dying on that hill. Like I told you, I don't care what he does with his career. Again, I understand. Who the fuck am I to say what he's doing about his career? What I'm saying is, for a franchise and for a company that has basically made you, it made you.
And I agree. There are times I think there's a certain decorum that you should have, in your interviews.
That's what I'm saying.
And I completely understand and I agree. But at the same time, I also have to look at it from well, how many times has this guy been asked this question to where he's had to re-answer that question? I don't know. Now, let's say, Chris, you're asking me, hey, are you going to be on the Average Boys next year? Yep. And then, Brian, you asked me the same thing a month from now. Yep. Well, after like the fourth fucking interview from the both of you, or whoever the fuck next time, I'm pretty sure people are going to, get the gist. Trigger's going to be here next year. It's going to happen. We get it. Now granted, like there's not a sense of uncertainty with my answer as there is with Tom's, right? May not have been exactly the best example, but nonetheless, we still have numerous interviews going on where, several people, several different outlets are asking him this exact same question. Hey man, what's going to go on with Spider-Man? Hey man, what's going to go on with Spider-Man? Hey man, what's going to go on with Spider-Man? Dude, I don't fucking know. Hold on, man.
I think it's just because I think people just want to know these questions because they keep asking them because they want to know where it goes from here.
Which and I think everybody does. Everybody does. I mean, I want
solidified to know that something's coming.
I don't give a fuck, dude. Just do whatever the fuck you're gonna do. I just want just stop talking about it. That's the only thing.
Just repeating yourself.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, just stop saying I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know because then that leaves other people like hanging on. They don't know, like they're antsy and in flux. They don't know what the fuck is going on. Like there's a lot of people that love his portrayal of Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's really silly. It's really silly, as a matter of fact, because it kind of correlates with the idea that I saw an interview a while back where someone put really high hopes because someone had taken an Instagram shot and the guy that plays Icarus from Eternals is in the shot with him, right? Or with the person. And it was like, spotting on Instagram makes certain almost that we may see the return of a character come back from a franchise. And the whole article was literally about how there's a possibility that Icarus is going to return in Eternals 2 by being that they may bring him back to life. And I was like, you not know the fucking story of the Eternals? Like literally that leads up to him dying and he's just going to get reborn in the World Forge again.
Yeah.
And that just means he just didn't get tamed by of course he's going to be in fucking part 2.
Yeah.
But it's just that these people, they ask such weird fucking interviews, man. Like just weird shit in interviews.
And it's really funny that you mentioned that as well, because like, oh man, fuck, I forget the guy's goddamn name, like his real name. I was gonna say Kit Harington, but I know that's wrong. Richard Madsen. Richard Madden. Anyway, he's like stated, and I think Chloe Zhao has also stated that, like, yes, when Icarus flew into the sun, that was like it. That was like his death. And I was like,
no, it's not.
No, it isn't.
Well, that body, he'll be back.
I was like, yeah, I mean that version of him will be,
he'll be back.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to what we were talking about, Spider-Man, he's just been talking about it. It was very interesting for me because the reason why I wanted to talk about it was the opportunity of having Tobey Maguire kind of being a little bit more front and center compared to what he has been in the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. But I think that we talked about that there needs to be like certain deaths that are coming up in the Doctor Strange 2 storyline. And I really think that Tobey Maguire would probably be one of the first people to want to get killed off. Just because himself doesn't really want to be back in like films. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. But I don't want to touch base too much on this shit. Tired of that fucking Tobey Maguire talk. Actually, what I wanted to bring up is something that just came up like maybe like a fucking day ago. And I haven't even mentioned this to the guys yet that I was going to bring this fucking shit up. But did you guys see that fucking Jake Paul dropped a diss track on Dana White? And it's starring that it had fucking Chris Cyborg in it. Did you see this shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like today, I saw it.
Yeah, literally. I just saw this before the show.
Yeah, it came out today.
Brian, did you see it?
Yeah.
Yo, I fucking need one of you guys to tell me what you think about this shit. This was fucking
again,
great,
Triggs,
dude.
I'll defer to you.
This is one of those like
I needed to bring it up, and I know we don't talk much about like sports or things like that, but I needed to bring this up. I needed to. This like so hard with me in so many ways.
I mean, dude, you got Jake Paul, who's just like the laughing stock of combat sports, right? You know, like granted, the kid is trying to do.
He is. I don't think he's the laughing stock of combat sports, bro.
Not with the last win. Not with the win against what's his face.
I'm not even talking about from a physical standpoint. I'm talking about like he is, and I listen. This may be an unpopular fucking opinion, but those two Paul kids, they are changing the shit in front of our face, bro.
Oh yeah,
and then that's exactly what I was going to hit on before I was rudely interrupted.
Sorry, I'm just saying. You're changing shit.
But yes, they are trying to do some great things when it comes to fighters and their healthcare, fighters and their pay. And the more that I see, the more that I read, the more that I'm looking into the whole Jake Paul, Logan Paul changing and even trying to unionize, you know, combat sports.
Yeah.
As much as I want to hate these Paul kids, you know, I really have to give it up to them and be like, oh, dude, fuck yeah, man. You know, like especially for the UFC, you know, or MMA, you know, in general, because I mean, like, granted, like your two biggest promotions are what, UFC and Bellator, you know.
Yeah.
Where's the MMA going?
Not too far away either.
Yeah. Granted, I mean, all I really keep up with is UFC. Sometimes I'll kind of watch Bellator fights, but like, you know,
Vince Weaver wild man in the comments. Right? Vince, you wild, man.
Yeah. Bro, I'm in the MCU, dog. I'm in Disney. I was a Disney kid all my life,
I'm in it, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but but like I said, man, you know, as much as I'm trying to hate these, you know, Paul kids, you know, like I really have to give it up for the fact that, like, yes, dude, like they're trying to make a very positive change in what's going on with combat sports.
Because, like what's really crazy is like, I think the big scrutiny is the fact that they keep picking and choosing fights that they want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, that's what happens when you have money.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
That's literally what happens. I've seen fucking people that have boxing fights that their fighters don't get paid. The coaches have to pay their fighters for fighting. So like not even the promotion is willing to pay the fighter to have them on their card. The Logan Paul brothers are coming in and they ain't slouches, dude. These kids, you know, they made a fuckload of money. Dana White made his money being a promoter. These kids literally made the same amount of money making fucking crazy YouTube videos and doing crazy shit on the internet. Yeah. They have, and man, dude, they fucking Jake Paul drops so much fucking shit on everybody in that video. Talks about George Masvidal, which is, of course, George Masvidal is gangster as shit. He dude, hard, dude, from the old school shit.
Yeah, dude, this kid used to fight in the same backyards as fucking Kimbo Slice.
Yeah, he's
dude, like this is no like Yeah, like if you watch some of his like full videos of Kimbo Slice, you're gonna see young little 23-year-old Joe Masvidal.
Yeah, and not only that, like he's got a great fight coming up against Colby Covington. They used to be they used to be super homies, roommates, and all this other shit. That's gonna be a dog fight, man. It's gonna be good. But in the aspect of it, like at the very end of the day, it's about making fucking money.
That's all it is.
And Jake Paul and Logan Paul know that shit.
They do best.
Yeah, and like these kids chase the bag better than anybody on fucking earth right now.
Like they're jokes to normal people, but in the entertainment world, they're fucking superstars for what they're doing right now.
Yeah, man. And not only that,
even to other fighters and to other entertainers and athletes, they're changing the game. Yeah. Like there's the same amount of people watching a Jake Paul fight as there are watching a Conor McGregor fight, bro.
Yep.
Or another MMA fight.
And those and fucking Paul brothers are making more money than Conor McGregor is.
That's wild.
And that's wild as fuck. That's super crazy,
bro.
I mean, for what these kids are doing, they're okay. So, two things. One, yes and no, it's good for the sport. Yes, it's good for the sport because it brings attention back to boxing. Boxing for a long time was losing to MMA. It was only like a couple of fights that would really, really break the chain into the pay-per-view world. Canelo, Mayweather, Tyson Fury. Wilder, like a couple of them were still breaking. Lomachenko, still bringing in heavy numbers.
You know about Loma?
Oh, I know a fuckload about Loma.
You know about Loma?
Shit, man. I know all about the Matrix, man. But straight up, man. Oh, you ever see Josh Kelly?
Yeah.
Josh Kelly blow your fucking mind, man. That all those Olympian kids are fucking phenoms, dude. Phenoms. But going back to the problem is they're making a debacle for the athletes in boxing, because the athletes in boxing are still not getting the respect that they deserve. And that's just in their sport that these guys are literally taking head of. So for them to kind of like iterate by bringing in, but that's the thing, man, like MMA since the Conor McGregor scene has turned into like the showmanship of like the WWE. Like it's really wild out there when it comes to some of the drama these guys can promote, right? Like Conor McGregor took the chain off of that bitch with all the shit that he was doing while he was becoming a professional fighter.
Dude, and like, speaking of the whole drama thing, dude, I mean, like, granted, you saw it, right? In like early UFC fights, like there was some bad bloods, that you were kind of like, all right, dude, sick, like your Tito and yeah, and then like you kind of had a little bit with Brock Lesnar and Frank Mir,
and you even had Chuck Liddell coming trying to call out the Paul brothers in the very beginning of this shit because he knew that this drama was going to be something that he was like comfortable with.
Yeah,
that they were trying to run their shit.
But there's money in it.
Yeah, there's money, of course. Yeah.
Like I mean, as much as I don't exactly respect this particular aspect, but these kids are clout chasers, right?
Yeah, dude.
But clout chasing gets paid.
Yeah, it gets you paid.
As much as I may not respect that, clout chasing gets you paid. That is 100% an absolute fact. As much as anybody doesn't want to admit it or even believe it, doesn't matter.
And what a fucking
kid sits in a fucking like $10+ million mansion that he doesn't even fucking pay for.
And what a phenomenal situation to bring in Cyborg in the beginning of the episode, because that's what happened to her after she got bought out by Affliction or whatever organization she was a part of. Yeah. Dana White held on to her contract until she just couldn't fight anymore. Like he out-aged her and then put her in there. Like he literally held on to her contract for almost 1.5 years before he let her do a fight. Right off of, if it wasn't Bellator, it was another one I can't remember off the K1, or it was one of the organizations from back in Pride or something. He literally had brought her Invictus.
I want to say it was K1.
Invictus. No, it was Invictus. It was a female fight card. She was dominating the scene. She had got to a point where she had fought every MMA female, did very well, and then started challenging chicks from kickboxing and boxing and just all over. Started doing all these different iterations of fights, which is very, very, very prestigious for a female fighter to do. Not only that, Muhammad Ali's daughter's coming in. Oh no, Shields, that chick Shields, Clarissa Shields.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's out there. She just did her first MMA fight. She did fucking fantastic not too long ago. But going back to Chris Cyborg, when she got her contract bought out by the UFC, everyone was super excited because that's when Ronda Rousey was in the game.
Mm-hmm.
They were really
that was
really
during the elite,
that,
that was during the Elite XC days. You know, when you know, not just Ronda Rousey, but what else? Gina Carano as well.
Gina Carano and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but he bought her contract out and then fucking sat like just benched her ass out for a whole year, dude. And it was one of the most horrendous things to see in the UFC. And Jake Paul knew that shit and brought that shit out. There is no good blood between Chris Cyborg and Dana White now. But let me ask you guys something to fucking end this weird ass conversation. What do you think Dana White's doing? Sitting in the studio writing a diss track, or what do you think he's going to respond to this shit?
Dude, I bet he's doing a fat rail right now, just saying whatever. Fuck the Paul.
Sitting in the studios with fucking Little Easy and shit.
Yeah. Like,
what do you think? What do you want? I want to know. I want to know. What do you guys think? How this guy's going to respond to this? Is he going to ignore it, or is he going to fucking?
He's probably going to make some video like Jake Paul's fucking stupid. Fuck this kid.
It's Dana White. He's not going to respond to this, and if he does, he's going to laugh. Yeah.
Do you think he loses it like he did the last time and make like a weird ass tweet?
Probably, if
an emotional tweet.
An emotional, probably not, but
depends on how many bumps he took that night. Like
right. Brian with the cocaine snap. Oh, dude, right into I think that was like in stanza 1 for Jake Paul, dude.
You catch him early in the morning, he's probably gonna brush it off. You catch him at maybe like 9 o'clock at night, he's probably gonna go off the rails, bro.
Taking more bumps than most teams in wrestling.
I mean, like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Straight up, that was I just wanted to ask you guys.
White Claws in.
one last thing before we get into Book of Boba Fett talk. I want to get your guys' point of view on the crazy pop off of Ezra Miller. The Flash goes after the Ku Klux Klan. I have to ask this, dude.
What he was doing? I didn't know.
I fucking, dude, I wanted to surprise Brian with this shit. We talked about it off scene and we were like, holy shit, dude. And I really think it's a good talking point. I really think. Why? Because Ezra's our boy, dude. He's the fucking Flash. He's the fucking Flash, dude.
No, listen, I'm not fucking with Ezra. I'm gonna watch my mouth because I don't want him.
You're like, I'm gonna fucking.
I don't want him coming for me next. Hell no, I don't want no smoke with Ezra.
Did you hear about this?
Dude, okay, so I've heard about it. I just don't know anything about that situation. I'm looking it up right now.
I literally, it was like my second time I got to watch it with Brian. I got to watch it with Brian a little while ago, but I had only skimmed it and I didn't know what the fuck what it was about. And I was showing it to Brian. Brian, you had already seen it though, right?
I seen it like 4 times before you showed it to me, bro. Like
so apparently Ezra Miller jumped on Instagram. He's out there wearing a 50 Cent fucking big ass jacket with the fuzz hoodie and shit.
Snorkel jacket.
Cruising, he's got a 5 o'clock shadow.
That's how you knew. Yeah, that's how you knew he meant business. When you got the snorkel on,
he's driving an Escalade. He's probably got his Timbs on. You know, he's cruising, man. And he straight calls out a fucking city at what was it, Belleville?
Some backwater
place, in North Carolina.
The Beulahville chapter of North Carolina.
Yo, and he calls it out straight, like Miller. Look, I'm watching that shit right now.
So, all right, so hold on. Let me put this shit up real quick. I'm not gonna put it up, but I'm gonna let you all listen to the audio real quick.
We're gonna talk over it a little bit. I don't know if we could just like straight play this shit. Brian, what are the calls on this? Can we straight play this?
No, we could probably play that. That's on. Yeah, we could probably play that.
It's on Instagram.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Here it is.
I'll pull it up right now. Here you go.
Okay. Go ahead.
You definitely play that.
Mad Goose Wizard.
Raise it up.
And this is a message for the Beulahville chapter of the North Carolina Ku Klux Klan. Hello. First of all, how are y'all doing?
All fucking polite and shit.
It's me. Look, if you all want to die, I suggest just killing yourselves with your own gun.
It's me, bitch.
It's me. It's Mario.
Keep doing exactly what you're doing right now, and you know what I'm talking about. And then, we'll do it for you if that's really what you want.
And he said that so casually.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. If you don't, we'll get you, dude. And that's because I didn't even know this. At this point,
I am Yeah, I fuck with him.
He's wearing his fucking flash ring like a pinky ring, dude.
Yo, he's
just banging that shit. He's just fucking clearing it like he's got his bling on and shit.
Anyone that does that, first off, that video
that's some gangster shit right there.
That is
some
that is a sick ass video, bro. That is a nasty ass fucking video, bro. Like
I didn't know I was gonna wake up to that shit today.
Yo, that is wild.
That makes me want to see the Flash more, dude.
I'm not fucking with Ezra Miller. You kidding me, bro? Like
I gotta see the Flash more now. Now I need to see that.
Bro, he slammed that fucking old lady. You remember that shit like 2 years ago?
Oh,
so we were talking about this off camera.
When of course,
there's really no backstory to this. Like there's no backstory. But that shit is personal, man.
I don't know if you need a backstory to this, bro. Like that, then that's personal. No, he called out the specific chapter. Yeah, the specific chapter, the specific city, the state. Like that was personal, bro. He was pissed. Yeah. I'm not fucking with. That's a wild boy, yo. He went after. Like, he called out a whole chapter of the Ku Klux Klan, bro. Who does that? I
never would have imagined Ezra Miller to be that hood. Well, I've seen that guy like do fashion shows and walk runways and
man. Something tells me he's with the shits, bro.
I mean, dude,
I gotta look up what's going on in Beulah, though.
Yeah, like that just makes me want to wonder, man. Like, is that where shit's gonna pop off? Like, what is this place?
I was just minding my own. I was literally just minding my own business
listen to my Will Smith CDs, man.
On this Good Friday afternoon, just scrolling down my timeline, minding my own business, and I got Ezra Miller talking some gangster shit at me. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck?
I don't even know why, dude, but I just have to feel like Robert in the comments, he knows exactly what's going on. Like, Robert's probably so well connected and shit. Robert's gonna have them down low on the Reddit somewhere, man. It's just so wild, man. Just so wild.
It was
do you guys think this shit's gonna pop off in the next couple of days or what?
Hell yeah.
It has to now, right? It has to. Maybe we get one of the Ezra Miller on a Jake Paul round. He's gonna call out the fucking KKK member leader and fucking fight him in a Jake Paul fight or some shit. I don't know.
My money is on Ezra.
My money's on Ezra.
You don't do that, yo. You honestly don't do that. Serious, bro. Like he's serious.
No,
bro.
Yeah, no, fuck it, dude. Everything is personal in that.
I believe
everything's 100%. Dude, and then straight up, but there's just like it's so gangster, and I can't take him serious at the same time because he's like, "Hello,
it's me."
Yeah, he's like if all of a sudden the KKK is supposed to have this guy on fucking radar, dude. Like, hey guys,
it's me.
You know what vibe I got from that?
You know what I do? It's me.
You know what vibe I got from that? And this is for like any guy who has a girlfriend who listens to fucking who watches Shane Dawson or fucking Jeffree Star is Jeffree Star always starts his videos with or their videos with, "Hey, how are ya?" And like that's exactly how I felt. And he always does these like little things. He's like, "Hey, how are ya?"
Dude, Ezra Miller just changed the game, dude. Every gang call out is gonna be like this, dude.
Bye.
Hey, how are ya?
Yo,
it's me.
I'm not fucking with him, yo.
I'm from the east side.
Nah, bro, he got it. That was the most gangster shit I've seen in a while, bro.
Dude. Like, honest to God, I kind of want to hear Ezra just rap. Fuck your bitch now.
Ezra, we love you, man.
But I fucked your wife.
Yeah, we love you. Yeah,
Ezra,
we don't want no smoke
here. We hope nothing crazy happens. We hope you don't have to kill anybody.
Just be safe, bro.
Don't massacre all of Nebraska or whoever you're calling out, dude. Because can you imagine this guy just goes on like a fucking North Carolina murder spree, dude, and we just hear like actor of the Flash murders fucking congregation of KKK guys before the Flash movie comes out.
So funny you brought this up. I swear I thought you were gonna just pass this up, but you went straight for it. I love it.
Yeah, that was fucking wild. But all right, back onwards to the last conversation, guys. Ezra, we love you. Thank you so much, man.
For that.
All right, here we go.
That's cool.
Last part before we end the show. Boys, we got an excellent, interesting, flabbergasting, fucking jaw-dropping episode of the Book of Boba Fett. What did you guys think about it?
Tricks.
So I still haven't seen it. I do apologize. I have read up quite a bit on it.
Okay.
From what I'm hearing is that, the episode 5 of Book of Boba Fett is the redeeming episode of the series thus far, and it is making me a lot more enticed to see it.
Nice. Brian.
I'm flabbergasted. I
love that word. It really makes a lot of sense for this.
So confused. It's the best episode of the Book of Boba Fett, but it didn't have Boba Fett in it. It's literally an episode of Mando, which honestly, sidebar, I think I could put that episode. I put up there as one of the best Mando episodes around.
Oh shit! Okay,
like that episode to me was everything. From the backstories to the lore to everything. That was a really solid Mando episode.
So if that's the case, I'm probably just gonna watch this 5th episode. And
that's what I'm saying. Literally, you don't have to watch anything else from this season. You can just watch this episode and be satisfied.
All right, good enough for me.
And be satisfied. Honestly, I have no idea why they did that to Boba. They did him such a disservice by doing this. It was almost like they realized that the show sucked, that they had to inject Mando in it.
Do you think this is more fan service, if anything?
Oh, dude.
Hell yeah, 1,000%. And but you know what? You know what the kicker is? They fucking pulled it off though.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, bro.
They pulled it off though. It would have been okay if they gave me like a so-so Mando episode, but now they pulled this shit off, bro. Chris,
like,
you have any?
This is something that should have been in like season 3 or something like that.
Bro, like, I got this. If this would have been like the first episode of season 3, I would have been like, fuck yeah.
I mean, straight up, look, Tricks. You know how big a fan of Star Wars I am.
Oh, of course,
right. This episode by itself would literally give me reason to say that this director deserves her own trilogy.
Like
she deserves her own trilogy. The director of this episode is Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah. Ron Howard's daughter. She's from
daughter.
Lost World and from the Jurassic Park.
Park films.
Yeah. She's the redhead in Jurassic Park. Dude.
Yeah.
She deserves her own trilogy, dude. This literally gave me the original trilogy vibes and a mixture of the
like
prequel
Mandalorian
trilogy. The prequel.
They gave you prequel shit in here, bro.
No, but that's the thing. Like,
amazing.
There are a lot of callbacks, a lot of Easter eggs. But the way that it's filmed and the way the story is told, it literally sits in both of those trilogies. Like, it literally sits in both. It's almost like a marrying of both of those trilogies together, which is like the original storytelling and the fun kid style, like story style talking or telling, the storytelling of a child story, at the same time having that really sci-fi-ish fascination of like tinkering and it's so weird to explain, because in the 45 minutes that this episode was, it explains an economy. It explains transportation of regular civilian life. It explains that there is history in this because it calls back to a generation that's not there anymore. Mm-hmm. It touches base on everything that the Boba Fett story wanted to touch base on, and it still pays homage to the Mandalorian show, all its seasons through and through, and it still had enough heart and enough remembrance to give remembrance to the Mandalorian life, the backstory of the Mandalorian culture, and break down the Darksaber like for no fucking reason in the middle of it, and then give you some turmoil on how fast it could fucking change on someone's shit. Yeah. And then even with that, it gave you some fascination with the way like the weaponry is. Mm-hmm. Like there was just so like much.
It was rich. This episode was rich,
dude.
It was rich
in
of
one
every
episode,
but it wasn't. But I like the word that you're using, rich but not convoluted. Is kind of what I'm hearing.
Yeah, dude. It's so look.
Well, the good thing is that, like, I mean, this is Bryce Dallas Howard, right? This is Ron Howard's.
Wait, before I lose that track of mind, this one episode did what an entire season of The Mandalorian could do. Yeah. In one episode, it did literally a whole storytelling of a whole season.
That was a whole arc.
It felt like felt like a movie.
Yeah,
it felt like an entire fucking movie.
Yeah, it was an arc,
and it made sense. It didn't feel rushed. Didn't feel pressured. There was a whole like fucking montage building scene in it, which didn't even feel like it was elongated or anything. It all felt like it was supposed to be there.
They even gave you a flashback of Mandalore, dude. Like,
oh yeah,
there's so much. There's so much in this episode.
It was really good. It was really good. But like again, they didn't have to do that to my boy Boba, bro. And then not only that,
made him a jobber.
It made him a jobber, bro. And then not only that, but then like they basically showed what a bounty hunter looks like, bro. They showed you right there what a fucking bounty hunter is supposed to look.
It's almost like they literally substituted Mando for fucking Boba, right? During this whole entire.
Honestly, they jobbed him, dude. That's I was thinking about that like all day because like I've been hearing about this. For a minute now, like, hey, Book of Boba just come out. This is a fantastic episode. And so, like, I'm reading all these articles, reading all this stuff, hearing it on YouTube. And the only thing that, like, goes through my head, dude, and I'm so glad, Brian, that you get this reference, is that I was like, so they jobbed by, like, Boba.
He's a jobber, awesome. Yo.
Yeah, I was like, they made him a jobber. Got it.
They made him a jobber. But you know what? I thought about? Yes, and there's plenty of Anakin Easter eggs in here.
There's pod racing. Pod racing's all over the place.
From beggars, I'm gonna spoil it. I don't want to spoil it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it.
This is definitely one of those where I'm like, hey man,
I don't want to spoil it. But there's a lot of Anakin Easter eggs in here. But I was thinking about this. So they should have reversed this. Like, I would have rather this have been a third season of Mando, and I would have gave one episode to Boba to give his backstory, than the other way around, than to have a whole show of Boba and give me one episode of Mando. That makes any sense because they're not doing this right. They're not. They're something.
And I feel like this show is fan service, is just a fan service because people have always wanted to see more Boba. Granted, there are comic books and even books about him and his life and stuff like that. Pre-prequel, trilogy and stuff like that, and post, original trilogy stuff, and like it's all very nice and it's buttoned up real good and stuff like that. But I'm glad that they did what they did with his character in Mando. But I really felt that the Book of Boba Fett was a huge fan service, and usually with fan services, it's a bit of a letdown because we have an expectation up here when it delivers down here. And I'm glad to see that episode 5 is kind of the other way around. The expectation was down here, but they gave us a Mando season 3 opener episode.
That's a cheat right code, here. Though, I mean, I dig it. That's a cheat code, though, bro. Like, you can't do that because that wasn't Boba Fett. Like, you cheated. You used Mando. We all love fucking Mando, and they didn't like fuck around. They gave Mando, like Mando. Yeah. And see, like, again, if I were to stack this episode in season 1 and season 2, this, for me personally, this may be like top 3 episodes. This is a fucking great Mando episode for me.
For me, this is like so far that episode by itself was probably better than all the Disney Plus like series altogether. Because like I said, it really like all of them. Like the Mando series and
the Marvel shit too.
Yeah, like I'm not
mad at it. I'm not mad at it. That's how big I am on this.
Yeah, on this like for me, this did something that was so crazy.
It was needed, bro.
It's so hard to explain, man. And the reason why I'm saying it like that is because, like, the Mandalorian show was great, but the Mandalorian show took a lot of points on them rebuilding the Boba Fett look and they just kind of just substituted him for someone else. If you would have done the Mandalorian story but brought Boba Fett back and put him in that character, I think it would have been successful. Probably. But the thing is the Mandalorian character I feel was much more needed because Boba Fett as a character had already been taken into this whole, well, he'll just always be a clone. Like, and that's the thing. Like I think the actor for Boba Fett deserves to have a second chance at Star Wars, but they need to bring him back as the characters he was in the Rebels cartoon, where he played like the stormtroopers that helped Ahsoka Tano. Like Rex, I think his name was Rex. Trigger, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Rex character is someone that a lot of people want to see him come back as, which was one of the stormtroopers that ends up befriending Ahsoka Tano and doing, what was that? What's that, Brian? What were you going to say?
There's one thing, Triggs, I know you haven't seen the episode, but you remember how I told you that if Cal Kestis shows up live action, I'm going to lose my shit.
And
there is an Easter egg in this episode that may confirm that there is an older Cal Kestis
around.
Yes.
I will fucking install Fallen Order right now. Oh my God.
Just to play it again.
Yeah, dude. Why not, man? That was a fucking dude. So literally one of the funniest interactions that I've ever had with Audrey, my wife, was it was actually playing Fallen Order. And it was just when I get the force push ability, dude. And I was force pushing so much, dude. It was criminal how much I was force pushing people, right? Well, I'm like, she happens to talk to me, and I like look at her, and I get shot, and I was like, shit. And I force push, and I look, and you hear the the scream, and I was like, bitch. And I like look at her, and she just dies laughing.
See, I thought it was like that, but people in the comments they saw that shit too, bro. Nah, if he's around, I've told you, like, there's only two people that I'm gonna lose my shit over if I find out that they're walking around in live action right now, and that's fucking Cal Kestis and his fucking
don't do this to me, Brian.
Yeah, Mace Windu.
Mace Windu, boy.
Those two. I'm
Amethyst Knight, man. The Amethyst Knight. For me, it's just one of those things. Like, I just think that this episode really, it was a good melting of everything that Star Wars should be. That's the easiest way to put it. It almost didn't feel like Star Wars. It almost felt like a Battlestar Galactica. Or it almost felt like one of those like Star Trek episodes that had so much rich history that you just knew what all this stuff in the background was. Like, it literally didn't not Easter egg literally everything in the fucking franchise. Like, everything's a part of it. Everything's a fucking part of it. The way this director and writers of this show, of this episode, paid so much attention, it bewildered me that they would even consider putting this in an episode of Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
And then,
crime, bro.
And then to know that Mando now is going to go into the last episode or an episode or two of the Mandalorian is going to go into the Boba Fett series, and you're kind of like, well, just don't fuck up what they just did.
And not only that,
like, but I don't want to see him in the Boba Fett. I don't want them to ruin him.
At the end of this episode, we're almost guaranteed to get more of this in the next episode.
Yeah,
the way that it ended off. So it's like,
so
shit,
is the director? Is she directing the rest of the series?
I would hope so.
Bryce Howard. Let me check.
I hope so.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? Because my thing was, I thought they
brought Robert Rodriguez in. Fucking shame,
dude. Yeah, that was fucking horrible. Poor Robert.
She put him to shame.
She put him she put that guy on blast, dude.
And not only that, but like, you would think that if there's one thing that Robert Rodriguez would have over any other director, whether it be male or female, is the action. She put him to shame on the action too.
Oh yeah,
right, dude. And that's like such a like non-Bryce, like Ron Howard, like thing. Like he directs like dramas and he directs like heartfelts and stuff like that. Like not
she came through with the fight scenes too, bro. Like,
yeah, she comes through, man. She comes through with every aspect.
At all. She didn't miss at all on this show, on this episode, bro. Damn, man.
So Robert says he did 3, but he's the producer of this episode. So my biggest thing is this lady may end up being the director of the Mandalorian season coming up. Yeah. And they just brought her in as the intro to the Mandalorian, like to bring in to show you a taste of what the series is going to be like. And now it's going to go back to Robert Rodriguez for the last 2 episodes.
I did watch the credits, like specifically for this episode. Robert Rodriguez is credited with the EP credit, but I'm sure that he gets credit with most.
Yeah, because he's going to be the person overlooking the episode to make sure that it correlates.
So Jon Favreau and David Filoni write all of the episodes. Everything is written by Jon Favreau primarily, but is co-written by Dave Filoni. Yeah, so believe it or not, so far Robert Rodriguez has only directed 2 episodes. So it was the first episode and the 3rd episode. Bryce, has only directed this 5th episode. Yeah. Now, I'm not seeing anything past episode 5 at the moment, but I mean,
are they giving any director names or anything for the last 2 episodes?
That's what I'm looking for right now.
Yeah. I mean, I really, really hope that they end up. Because I just don't feel like Robert Rodriguez is bringing the heat, man. And it's kind of sad knowing that this episode might be like the best episode in the whole season.
Yeah, well, I mean,
there's a very good possibility.
Unfortunately, reception speaks volumes, right?
Yeah.
It's just the nature of the business, right?
But through and through, I want to say this was probably the best thing that happened to the Boba Fett series so far.
Ooh, George Lucas is actually writing episode 6 possibly.
So I guess we know what's gonna happen in chapter. I mean, damn.
He's gonna be like, hey George, what do you want to happen? Scary camels, big scary camels walking through the desert.
Pedro Pascal is slated to be in episode 6.
Yeah, well, the thing is he's on a mission. I don't want to say what, but he's on a mission. And then after, he's supposed to go to Boba because he's going to help Boba out in the series. That's pretty much what.
Do yourself a Triggs. I know you don't want to watch this show. Just watch this last episode, and then watch this next one, because this next one you may want to watch, bro. This next one that's going to happen is going to have the internet on fire, dude.
You think so? You think the next one's going to be like it?
1000%, because who's going to show up in the next episode, and it's going to be all over Twitter. It's going to be all over the fucking place, bro.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I'm expecting so I mean, obviously my expectations, I'm not going to say are very high, but from what I'm seeing and stuff like that, I think these next 2 episodes are probably going to be like the solidifying episodes for the season and kind of the redeeming ones. You've kind of seen it with like Marvel IPs and stuff like that. You saw it with WandaVision. You saw it
Hawkeye,
with Hawkeye. Unfortunately, it's kind of like finally, when the burners are really turned up and it finally starts getting good, are the last few episodes. So I'm hoping that's what happens. But from what I'm also hearing from the 2 of you is that like this is almost kind of like a Doctor Who situation where I don't really need to watch the first few episodes.
Unless you want to know about the fucking sand people and shit like that. But other than that, not really.
So with the way Star Wars is being
written, I know exactly what I need to know. They killed Anakin's mom. There you go. That's all I need to
know. So with the way the writing is for Star Wars and the way it's been going, I kind of feel like what they're gonna do is, Mando is not gonna come out in the next episode. He's gonna come out like at the very end, or if not, he will venture in on the last episode and be like the saving grace. Because whatever he's doing is going to be the beginning of his season of The Mandalorian next season. Does that make sense?
Well,
I get it.
Like I said, man, he is slated for episode 6.
Yeah,
I think they're going to jump an episode.
This is IMDb, and they are not the most reliable source.
But, those guys said what game was good? Cyberpunk, or what was it? No, I forgot what it was. They said some game was Cyberpunk.
No one said Cyberpunk was good.
Yeah, I forgot. They said some games sucked, and I was like, "Yeah, you guys don't play games. Get out of here."
I just know that Mando.
I know that
on,
IGN did that, not IMDb.
Yeah,
I know that Mando was on a mission, and the people that watch Mando want to see that mission come in this.
Yeah, they're gonna want to see that shit. Yeah,
they're gonna want to see it in this
it
next episode, and I do think we'll get it. I think we'll get it in this next episode. I think we'll see some shocking shit in this next episode, and it's going to be at least half of the episode, and the other half will get more of Boba.
So I think I could speak for the both of us and say that this episode for Brian, I'm going to speak for Brian in this.
Yeah, might as well.
That this episode is going to get some high marks, man. It's probably going to be like a 9 or 10. Easily a 9 or 10. For me, it's like a 9 or 10.
That's 10 out of 10.
The whole speed, I'm not going to say what it is that's fast, but the whole speeding through shit and flying and all that shit, Brian, was that not one of the coolest shits you've ever seen since Independence Day?
It was great for me because I am a fan of
that
Phantom Menace. Yeah, I'm a fan of Phantom Menace. Let's say that.
It's because Trix hasn't seen it. I don't want to ruin anything.
But see, like I can say Phantom Menace, and he still has no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah, you don't know what I'm talking about.
So I can
there's flying. I mean, I remember the flying scenes in Phantom Menace, and so that's why I'm like, okay, so there's a big like outer space fight. But all right, I mean, if I can at least, if my context is then you know, like
he doesn't. He still
cinematically, that was very beautiful. So if that's something that I have to look forward to, then you know, with no context past that, then I'm good.
Yeah, you'll get it. You'll get it when you see it.
Man,
but
it's such a cool payoff, dude.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of certain aspects of Phantom Menace, and they do a callback to it in here, and it was everything for me. It was fantastic. Chef's kiss, pulled it off. Miss Howard, keep directing this shit if you can, please, because this is fantastic.
Yeah,
it sucks for Boba because this is the best Boba Fett episode and it had nothing to do with that job.
It had nothing to do with him. So yeah, guys, what did you guys think of the Mandalorian? Oh, I'm sorry, I mean the Book of Boba Fett.
Right, season 3,
or at least the episode. Was it a great episode? Was it something that the show needed? Did it reinvigorate the idea of you watching the season for the rest of it, or is this something that you feel might have taken some of the fire away from the Boba Fett show? How do you guys feel about today's episode? Did you guys like everything we talked about? Did you what are your guys' thoughts on the whole live action He-Man story? Do you guys think it's a great thing from the He-Man animated series? Do you think it will be a recapping or a retelling of the old 80s live action He-Man story with D-Man Dolph Lundgren? How do you feel about Spider-Man? How do you feel about No Way Home and Tom Holland talking about him not knowing exactly what the fuck he's gonna do? How do you feel about Jake Paul dissing Dana White? How do you feel about Ezra Miller being the most gangster ass motherfucker on the planet? Yeah, guys, let us know in the comments. Hit us up in the DMs. Let us know throughout the week. Let us know with all the stuff you guys got going on with all the nerd stuff. Yes, I have seen 2 more episodes of Peacemaker.
We should probably start watching that, gentlemen.
Yeah, actually, I've been watching a couple episodes. It's fucking nuts. By far, probably one of the nuttiest things I've ever seen. But nutty in a fucking good way.
I'm with it.
Nutty in a good way. And we just talked about it earlier too. That the guy Uwuji.
Oh,
one
Chuck.
that they have for
Chuck. I'm just saying Chuck.
That's what I'm saying. I told Chris before. I'm just gonna call him Chuck, bro.
Chuck Uwuji, right?
You can still try. You still try.
Look at Chuck.
Now you know what? Now it's racist. All right, now it's racist.
He is actually doing. By the 3rd episode, you know, you end up kind of realizing what his character's like. He's a pretty good guy, pretty solid actor. You know, he really sells the role. I really feel like it hasn't really given the opportunity to let his like acting chops go.
Yeah.
But so far, he's a better character than Amanda Waller has ever been written. So think of it that way. If you look at Amanda Waller in the DC films, he's actually written a lot better, a lot funnier, and a lot more in the aspect of like the shit that he does makes fucking sense. to where like Amanda Waller being in the middle of a giant fucking alien invasion and needing to be rescued and not saying she needed to be rescued because X, Y, and Z, which I still don't understand Suicide Squad, the first movie. But yeah, this guy does a great job. All the characters, all the actors, all the villains, they're pretty fucking solid. So far, James Gunn is doing a pretty solid job. But what's crazy is with the way that he's making this show, I kind of worry.
James Gunn's doing the show?
Yeah, it's James Gunn.
Oh shit. I didn't know that.
James Gunn.
Get the fuck out of here.
It kind of makes me wonder when James Gunn says, "Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be dark." Like, I wonder if this is what he means by dark. This show goes dark pretty fucking fast. Like it's literally like, I don't know if you guys remember like the Toxic Avengers.
Yes. I do. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know those guys. Well, that's what James Gunn was into when he was a kid.
The kind of swamp thing looking guy with the mop and all that shit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there was another one called the Chainsaw Cheerleader, Lollipop Chainsaw Princess, or like, like a lot of cosplayers cosplay this girl. It's a very, I forgot what it's called, but it's very like a B horror comedy. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's got its own like grindhouse horror comedy kind of sense to it. Uh-huh. So like the Toxic Avenger is this dude who's like burned by toxic shit, but still wants to hook up with chicks, and he's like an ugly guy, and like they'll do like boobs in like certain shots of the movies, and just do like really weird. Like, what was that one movie where I fight for the Lord? Dead Alive or Dead Evil or something. It's like really weird movies. I don't know how to explain it. You guys have to look it up. But he kind of grew up in that trope. Like he's been he's participated in those tropes of films, and he's made several of them, and he's acted in some of them. So a lot of these grindhouse style comedies is what he's used to. He's like it's like kind of like the raunchy comedy in films.
Yeah.
So and then you see that prominently in Peacemaker. But for some reason, it plays off very classy with the way Peacemaker's character is. And of course, for some weird fucking reason, John Cena knows how to deliver comedy.
Yo, James Gunn wrote this entire thing, and he directed every episode besides 3.
Okay.
That's I did not know that. I didn't know this was like basically all his shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So, and I mean, you can see the prominence part when it comes to like the comedy, but then it makes you wonder, like when he talks about doing dark stuff, like if this is what it is, because you're going to see that it's pretty brutal. One of the major characters that's in it is this guy named Vigilante.
No, I know.
And
all
Vigilante is almost equivalent to like a straight edge version of Deadpool.
Okay.
Like he literally believes himself to be doing good, but he straight like kills anyone. Like he doesn't mind just straight killing motherfuckers. Like there's moments where he's like, they're talking about like marijuana, and he's like, man, you guys are so lucky, because if this was me 3 years ago, I would have just killed you all or whatever. And it's like, bro, it's just weed. Or like there was a scene where John Cena and him are sitting down on a couch, and he goes, "It's because we're killers, dude." Like he's like, I treat rapists, serial killers or convicts, and graffiti artists all the same. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what the fuck? This guy just goes straight and kills graffiti guys? Like he's just dude. And he's so nonchalant about it that it just blows your fucking mind. But he's a fucking funny. It has its slaps, dude. It has its slaps. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the other shit's just really out of this world, but other than that, it slaps pretty good. I don't know. I'm kind of digging it. I don't know how far. I can only handle so much of it though, until I'm like, all right, I'm done for the night. I got to turn this off.
There's only 8 episodes.
Yeah, but yeah, and I believe that they come out every Thursday also. Yeah, but I'll tell you what. This coming week. So next week, boys, I want to have a discussion about Moon Knight.
Okay. I
want to get everybody caught up. I think it's a really good character to talk about, especially because, back in the day, he started off kind of strong and then failed. and then had some, retellings of the story. And then, even with the new iterations on what they brought in with the whole Khonshu knocks out the whole Avengers series. And then, there are some things that I want to kind of educate people on, just so we can kind of theorize and start preparing what to expect in the Moon Knight series. And that way we can get our comment readers and everybody involved too. But at the same time, we'll talk about Peacemaker. We'll make sure we watch that. We'll make sure we do our homework, and we'll bring that shit too. And of course, Boba Fett will bring another episode. So hopefully Brian's right. And the next Boba Fett episode brings that heat. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you to all our extraordinary listeners for tuning in. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in again on another episode here with the Average Boys Podcast with your boy ChrisP, with your boy Brian, and with your boy Trigger. Boys, thank you so much. Triggs, thanks for coming in, man. I knew that you had some stuff, but it's good to see you, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, Brian, we'll see you. Trigger, we'll see you. Everyone in the comments, we'll see you. Shout out to The Collector, our sponsor, always. And don't forget, guys, tomorrow, if you're in the Edinburgh area, we have UCX going on at, I want to say like 12 o'clock to like 7 or 8. It's an indoor event. It's going to be at the Edinburgh Convention Center right next to Pizza Hut on Klausner. If you guys are down, cosplay, karaoke, a bunch of collector's items, some cool stuff. I'll probably live feed a little bit from out there, so you guys will catch me out there. But until next Friday, we'll see you guys, and thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys again next Friday.
All gas like
Oh, yeah. Laters.